Chapter 168. At this moment, the sky changed color, and the mountains and rivers shook. An incomparably vast pressure instantly enveloped heaven and earth. Then, one figure after another appeared in the void. Their bodies were huge, and each one of them was thousands of feet tall. The invisible aura that leaked out was so terrifying that it almost suffocated everyone. Everyone stared at the void in horror. The figures that appeared in the void were all supreme existences in the transcendence realm. Moreover, there were as many as 9 super experts of this level. Any one of these 9 terrifying existences was comparable to the 7 temple masters of the Langya sacred ground. The terrifying aura set off waves of origin chi in the void, and the mountains and rivers within thousands of miles were shaken. This scene caused all the cultivators who were chasing after Jun Haotian to stop in their tracks. Their faces were pale, and they stopped in the distance to watch. They had already reached the boundary of the wavering light sacred ground. The 9 transcendence realm experts in the void were the almighty existences of the wavering light sacred ground. The terrifying aura spread in the void, and even Jun Haotian could not help but feel a little suffocated. If there was only one transcendence realm existence, Jun Haotian would not be afraid. However, there were 9 transcendence realm existences here at the same time. Moreover, these 9 transcendence realm existences were all influential figures in the martial god continent thousands of years ago. Compared to the independent cultivators of the same realm, their strength was undoubtedly much more terrifying. At this moment, Jun Haotian was drawing the sun-slaying divine bow, but he did not shoot it out. This was because he could feel 9 oppressive auras tightly locking onto him. This was a threat. If he attacked directly, how would the 9 transcendence realm existences attack him? Cough cough. At this moment, the wavering light holy sun felt the appearance of these experts, and stood up with difficulty. Now that he had a chance to catch his breath, he hurriedly swallowed dozens of precious elixirs. As the wavering light holy sun, the elixirs he had were naturally extraordinary. After a while, the wavering light holy sun recovered a lot. Then, he looked at Jun Haotian who was in the void. The 9 experts from the Alcade Holy Land, who had appeared in order to protect him, looked embarrassed. He was the light-shaking realm holy sun, known as the 2nd strongest cultivator in the eastern wasteland. He had actually been chased by a brat for 100,000 miles, all the way to his own doorstep. He even needed the help of his elders. Great humiliation. This was simply a great humiliation. This made him lose all his face. When he thought of this, the Alcade Holy Sun's heart was filled with rage. Holy Son of Haotian, I'm standing right here. Kill me if you dare. The Alcade Holy Sun seemed to have lost all reason as he roared at Jun Haotian. As one of the top prodigies in the eastern wilderness, the Holy Sun of the light-shaking realm had never been humiliated like this before. At this moment, he couldn't wait for Jun Haotian to attack him. In that case, the 9 Dharma plane cultivators behind him could make their move. I said I'd kill you, and I'll do it. You won't be able to escape death today. Jun Haotian stood in the void, his golden aura turning into a surging ocean. He was dressed in purple, and all kinds of divine light shone on him. He was like a supreme deity. Holy Son of Haotian, let's stop here. You've gone too far. Seeing that Jun Haotian was still so arrogant, one of the Alcade Holy Land cultivators' faces darkened. This Holy Son of Haotian was so arrogant. He dared to be so presumptuous in front of his elders. He had no respect for his elders. And this was treason. If Jun Haotian wasn't the Holy Son of Haotian, they would have killed him already. Holy Son of Haotian, please go back. Today's matter ends here. We can also let bygones be bygones for your pursuit of our Holy Son of Haotian. You've already killed Long Dongbua and Zhuozhongtong. If you provoke the Alcade Holy Land, I'm afraid the Langya Holy Land won't be able to handle it. Please leave now. Otherwise we'll attack directly. If anything happens, don't blame us. Then the 9 Alcade Holy Land cultivators spoke one after another. Their tone was cold, and they reprimanded him. There was even a hint of threat in their words. Their attitude showed that they were determined to protect the Holy Son of Alcade. Haha! The Holy Son of Alcade and Xiang, Holy Son of Haotian, wanted to join forces to deal with me, the Holy Son. It's only right that I kill him today. Looking at the 9 Alkate Holy Land cultivators, Jun Haoyan spoke arrogantly and mercilessly. You old fogies forcefully intervened in our battle. Are you trying to bully the young? Are you trying to bully the weak? Are you trying to bully the weak? Are you trying to bully the weak? His attitude instantly caused countless people to tremble in fear. The holy son of Haoyan was too domineering. It could even be said that he was arrogant. One had to know that this was the territory of the Alkate Holy Land. Wasn't he afraid of angering the people of the Alkate Holy Land by acting so arrogantly? How dare you? How dare you? You're courting death. Hearing Jun Haoyan's arrogant words, the 9 Alkate Holy Land cultivators immediately rebuked him angrily. Their expressions changed drastically, and they were furious. Even if Jun Haoyan was the holy son of the Langya Holy Land, he couldn't speak to them in such a manner. Ever since they had ascended to the Dharma characteristic realm, no one had dared to be impudent in front of them for thousands of years. The holy son of Haoyan in front of them was just a child. How could they not be angry when he spoke so arrogantly just because he was the holy son? Today, no one can stop me from killing the holy son of Alkate. Ignoring the furious 9 Alkate Holy Land cultivators, Jun Haoyan sneered, then directly drew the sun-slaying divine bow. A terrifying aura is brewing. He aimed at the holy son of Alkate and shot another arrow with all his strength. This arrow was even more terrifying than the previous one. Moreover, the holy son of Alkate's Alkate cauldron was already broken and could no longer be used. Jun Haoyan's angry arrow was enough to kill him. The holy son of Haoyan has already turned into a demon and is addicted to killing. The Alkate Holy Land wants to eliminate the demon. All unrelated people disperse. Otherwise, you are the demon's accomplice and will be killed immediately. Seeing this scene, the 9 Alkate Holy Land cultivators were instantly enraged. In the next moment, they directly named Jun Haoyan as a demon, and they were the ones to eliminate the demon. Without the slightest warning, the 9 Alkate Holy Land cultivators attacked. They actually attacked at the same time. In an instant, the wind and clouds changed color, and heaven and earth trembled. Boom! At this moment a vast aura surged. Jun Haoyan only felt that the heaven and earth essence chi around him was being sucked dry. His true essence was directly suppressed in his energy center, and could not be used. Even the cells in his body were trembling, unable to bear it. Seeing this scene, countless people's expressions changed. The 9 Alkate Holy Son of Haoyan were actually attacking the Holy Son of Haoyan at the same time. This was simply bullying the young with the old. Even the Holy Son of Kunlun would not be able to withstand such a situation. At this moment, Jun Haoyan only felt that his body was being imprisoned, and he could not use his true essence. Ha ha ha, Holy Son of Haoyan, come and kill me. If anyone wants to kill, it will be me who kills you. You have already turned into a demon. It is only right for me to kill you. Apart from you, the demon, the Langya Holy Land will thank us. Seeing that Jun Haoyan was being restrained by the 9 Alkate Holy Son of Haoyan, the Holy Son of Haoyan laughed maniacally. Holy Son of Haoyan, you have turned into a demon. Let us exorcise it for you. One of the Alkate Holy Land's experts spoke. His palm grew to a size of 10,000 feet, and he was about to split open the top of Jun Haoyan's head. How was this exorcism? They wanted to destroy Jun Haoyan's soul. Countless people cried out in alarm, and Gu Yuehuang's face turned pale. Haha, exorcising demons? You're just a bunch of hypocrites. You want to kill me? Dream on. Jun Haoyan laughed. Although his entire body was imprisoned, he had expected this, and was not afraid at all. The Yuan Dan in his body had yet to transcend the tribulation of heaven and earth. Chapter 2. Killing the Alkate Holy Son with a single arrow even though he already possessed the strength of a 5th-level Imperial Dao Realm cultivator. In reality, he had yet to transcend the tribulation of heaven and earth. Originally, he had wanted to return to the Langya Holy Land to transcend the tribulation. But now it was time. Boom! In the next moment, a vast and boundless aura burst out from Jun Haoyan's body. Countless people were shocked when they sensed this aura. It was the aura that belonged to Yuan Dan. It was the aura of the tribulation of heaven and earth. Only an eternal realm expert could resist such an aura. Otherwise, Even a Transcendence Realm expert would be unable to stop his descent. Right at this moment, space shook as clouds gathered above the Waxingwang Holy Land. The color of the heavens and the earth changed. Thunder rumbled and lightning flashed as a chaotic aura raged in the sky. This was an aura that truly belonged to the heavens and the earth, and it suppressed everything. He actually hasn't transcended the tribulation. No, he's at the 5th level of the Imperial Tao realm, but he hasn't transcended the 4th level of the tribulation. Otherwise, both of us will be enveloped by the tribulation of heaven and earth. The 9 great figures of the Waxingwang Holy Land were instantly astounded when they witnessed this scene. Never had they imagined that Jun Haotian would actually draw down the tribulation of heaven and earth at this moment. Even a Transcendence Realm expert wouldn't be able to avoid being enveloped by the might of the tribulation, and they would be directly pulled into it. Moreover, the higher the cultivation of the cultivator beneath the tribulation, the greater the might of the tribulation would be. In other words, Jun Haotian was transcending the tribulation of the 5th level of the Imperial Tao realm. On the other hand, they were facing the tribulation of the Transcendence realm. Of course, they weren't afraid of the tribulation. However, if they transcended the tribulation, they would definitely be heavily injured. Rumble. At this moment, the void trembled as black clouds gathered and enveloped the surroundings. Everyone retreated hundreds of kilometers when they saw this scene. They were afraid that they would be implicated. Even the 9 light-shaking realm experts were preparing to leave this place in shock. It's too late to leave now. A cold smile appeared on Jun Haotian's face when he saw this scene. In the next moment, he released all of the aura within the Yuan Dan. Boom! For a moment, thunder rumbled in the heavens and the earth. In the next moment, a supreme tribulation descended and enveloped Jun Haotian and the 9 Transcendence Realm experts. At this moment, they were all caught in the tribulation. Ah, Holy Sun Haotian, you're so ruthless. After realizing that he was enveloped by the power of the tribulation, one of the Transcendence Realm experts roared at Jun Haotian. Rumble. Tens of thousands of lightning bolts descended from the sky. The experts of the Wavering Light Sacred Land were transcending tribulation together. Even the Holy Sun Haotian was enveloped by it. Jun Haotian was also bathed in tens of thousands of lightning bolts. Heavens! The Holy Sun Haotian actually attracted a tribulation of heaven and earth. This is too terrifying. Do you think the Holy Sun Haotian has been waiting for this moment? In this way, the 9 Transcendence Realm experts of the Wavering Light Sacred Land can't even take care of themselves. When they saw this scene, everyone cried out in surprise. On this day, the shock that Jun Haotian gave them was simply too much. Look, what's that? 9 colored clouds. The heavenly tribulation that the Holy Sun Haotian attracted is actually a 9-colored lightning tribulation. No, look, the Holy Sun Haotian is attacking the Wavering Light Holy Sun again. In the next moment, everyone turned to look at Jun Haotian. In the midst of the lightning tribulation, Jun Haotian actually dashed toward the Wavering Light Holy Sun at high speed. In the face of such a terrifying tribulation, the Holy Sun Haotian was actually preparing to attack the Wavering Light Holy Sun. Wasn't this a little too crazy? At this moment, the Wavering Light Holy Sun, who was also in the midst of the tribulation, also sensed the danger. Haotian Holy Sun, are you crazy? Seeing that Jun Haotian still wanted to attack him at this moment, he couldn't help but be shocked. I said that no one can protect you today, Jun Haotian said with a murderous look on his face. The 9-colored lightning tribulation bombarded his body, but it didn't have any effect. At this moment his physical body, primordial spirit, and true origin were all in peak condition. A lightning tribulation of this level was no longer effective on him. At this moment, he picked up the sun-slaying divine bow again, and drew it to its maximum. Ah, Haotian Holy Sun, you can't kill me. Seeing this, the Wavering Light Holy Sun, who was struggling to resist the lightning tribulation, couldn't help but tremble in fear. He was incomparably terrified. He wanted to ask for help, but he found that the experts of the Wavering Light Holy Land were all undergoing their tribulations. They couldn't even take care of themselves, not to mention saving him. Boom! In the next moment, Jun Haotian released his grip. and a golden arrow flew out. The arrow flew out with a thunderous roar. Pucci, faced with this terrifying arrow, the wavering light holy sun, who didn't have the wavering light cauldron's protection, could not block it. His body was directly hit, and half of it exploded, dyeing the sky red with blood. Countless people were shocked when they saw this scene. Haotian Holy Sun was really unscrupulous to achieve his goal. Although he was hit by the arrow, the wavering light holy sun was not dead. He still had half of his body left. Right now he was like a stray dog. There was no sign of him being a prodigy at all. He dragged half of his body, and madly ran in the direction of the wavering light holy land. Haotian Holy Sun, you are courting death. When they saw the wavering light holy sun in such a miserable state, the wavering light cultivators who were undergoing their tribulations couldn't help but roar angrily. They wanted nothing more than to immediately kill Jun Haotian. But no matter how angry they were, it was useless. They were in the middle of the lightning tribulation, and they couldn't even take care of themselves. How could they spare the time to help? If this continued, the wavering light holy sun would only die. Bathed in the nine-colored lightning tribulation, Jun Haotian's body was as immovable as a mountain. At the same time, the second and third cracks began to appear on his primal core, which had survived the tribulation. The fourth and fifth cracks appeared in the next moment. Now that he had overcome his tribulation, he was truly standing at the fifth level of the Emperor realm. Without much hesitation he, who was standing at a new peak, drew his bow. Buzz, 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 thousands of evil spirits howled. The power of this arrow was far more terrifying than before. Countless people held their breaths. This was a sure kill arrow. Stop! But at that moment, an extremely soft voice rang out in the void. Although this voice was soft, it was clearly transmitted to everyone's ears. After this voice rang out, the entire world fell into silence. Even the great tribulation of heaven and earth that filled the void instantly disappeared. Someone had made a move and isolated the world. An immortal realm expert. Jun Haotian's hair stood on end. He could feel a pair of eyes staring at him. If he didn't stop, he would really die. It was the wavering light holy master. Kill! In the next moment, Jun Haotian's eyes were filled with madness. He roared and shot out an arrow. Even if the wavering light holy master appeared, he would still kill the wavering light holy sun. At that moment, heaven and earth shook violently. The wavering light holy master wanted to kill Jun Haotian. However, the void rumbled and blocked him at that moment. Tao Xian! That expert berated loudly. Pfft! At that moment, the wavering light holy sun was hit by the golden arrow. His physical body exploded, and his divine soul turned into nothingness. Chapter 3. The three holy masters gather scarlet blood exploded in the void, blooming like red fireworks. This resplendent scene seemed to indicate the end of this peerless genius. The wavering light holy sun's glorious life had come to an end. From now on, the wavering light holy sun no longer existed in this world. The second position of the Eastern Wilderness younger generation had completely changed. Countless people's faces turned pale when they saw the wavering light holy sun fall. They still couldn't believe what they had seen today. It was as if they were in a dream. 4 holy sun existences had fallen, and they had died at the hands of the same person. This day was enough to go down in history, but everyone knew that. This matter was far from over. The moment the immortal realm expert made a move, the heavenly secrets were concealed. The great tribulation of heaven and earth also disappeared, and the world suddenly returned to silence. At that moment, the 9 Transcendence Realm experts of the Wavering Light Sacred Ground watched the tragic death of the Wavering Light Holy Sun. Their faces were twisted. Holy Sun Haotian had killed the Wavering Light Holy Sun in front of the 9 of them. How could they have any face left? But at that moment, even though the 9 Transcendence Realm experts were extremely angry, they could only stand there quietly and did not attack Jun Haotian. The surrounding cultivators were also extremely quiet at that moment. They did not dare to make a sound. In between heaven and earth, a suppressive aura that could suppress everything slowly swept across the void. The sky changed color, and the sun and moon dimmed. In the next instant, the void distorted, and a middle-aged man in a golden robe slowly walked out of the Wavering Light Sacred Ground. That person walked out step by step, accompanied by the rhythm of heaven and earth, and the turbulence of the wind and clouds. Just like that, with every step he took, heaven and earth became heavier. At that moment, no one dared to make a sound. This middle-aged man was the wavering light sacred leader. He was the top figure in the entire martial god continent. Above the void, the wavering light sacred leader looked coldly at Jun Haotian. A trace of killing intent flashed in his eyes. In the next moment, an extreme pressure that belonged to the immortal realm directly enveloped Jun Haotian. If it was anyone else, they would not be able to resist such pressure. But Jun Haotian was different. His strength was terrifying, and he cultivated the divine elephant overpowering technique, which was a terrifying supreme cultivation technique. Not to mention the existence of the immortal realm. Even if it was a legendary existence of the emperor realm, he would not be able to suppress him with just his aura. Seeing this scene, the wavering light sacred leader's eyes flashed with a strange light, and his killing intent intensified. Then he slowly opened his mouth and said in a calm tone, "You are not bad." His words seemed to be praising Jun Haotian, but the killing intent in his words could not be more obvious. Although he wanted to kill Jun Haotian with a palm strike, the wavering light sacred leader was obviously afraid. He did not attack Jun Haotian. Instead, he slowly looked at a certain spot in the void. "Tao Xian, since you are here, show yourself." Hearing this, everyone's expression changed drastically. They did not expect that the Holy Lord of Langya would also come. Tao Xian, the Holy Lord of Langya Holy Land. Lin Langtian, long time no see. The moment the wavering light sacred leader's voice fell, an ethereal voice also sounded in the void. In the next moment, the Holy Lord of Langya, Tao Xian's figure appeared directly behind Jun Haotian. The moment the Holy Lord of Langya appeared, everyone felt the pressure released by the wavering light sacred leader disappear. It seemed to be blocked by something. Looking at Tao Xian beside him, Jun Haotian calmed down. At the same time, he knew that he could kill the holy son of the wavering light sacred leader, because Tao Xian had helped him. Otherwise, he would not have been able to kill an immortal realm expert. The strength of an immortal realm expert was extremely terrifying. Holy Lord. Then, Jun Haotian bowed respectfully to Tao Xian. No matter what, since Tao Xian had stepped in at such a critical moment, Jun Haotian should respect this Holy Lord. Hearing this, Tao Xian looked at Jun Haotian and said with a smile, "You really know how to cause trouble for me." This sentence sounded like he was blaming Jun Haotian. However, the pride that surfaced on Tao Xian's face was displayed without any concealment. He was obviously praising Jun Haotian. Seeing this scene, many people sighed in their hearts. Peerless geniuses had special privileges. For a peerless genius like the holy son of Haotian to appear in any force was something to be proud of. Tao Xian, how do you plan to deal with this matter? At this moment, Lin Langtian, the wavering light sacred leader, spoke. He looked at Tao Xian, as if he wanted an explanation. This was a punitive expedition. How do I deal with it? When Tao Xian heard this, he raised his eyebrows and said mockingly, "It's inevitable that there will be casualties in a battle between the younger generation. Since the wavering light holy son was killed, it means that he is incompetent. Don't tell me you're going to blame him?" Hearing this, many of the major forces present nodded. In fact, it was not only the martial god continent, but also the 3,000 small realms. The older generation could not interfere in a battle between the younger generation. Moreover, the wavering light holy son had provoked them first. At this moment, the wavering light sacred leader's accusation was indeed unreasonable. Tao Xian, don't pretend to be confused. The wavering light holy son's death was because he lost in a battle between the younger generation. I can let bygones be bygones. However, the holy son of Haotian acted presumptuously in front of the wavering light sacred ground. This is trampling on the dignity of the wavering light sacred ground. He must pay the price. Lin Langtian, the wavering light sacred leader, said. He did not use the wavering light holy son's death as an excuse. He was talking about the dignity of a sacred ground. Everyone knew this. Human sacred grounds were revered and respected by billions of people. Trampling on the dignity of a sacred ground was quite serious. There was no loophole in this excuse. Hearing this, Tao Xian frowned. They were all leaders of sacred grounds. They would not easily start a war, so they had to be reasonable first. If they could not be reasoned with, they would use their fists. You are not as strong as others, but you still want to force your dignity and dignity to be implicated? I didn't expect the dignity of the wavering light sacred ground to be so cheap. At this moment, Jun Haoyan spoke directly with a fearless look on his face. In fact, he could tell that the wavering light sacred leader was just sophistry. How could he let the other party have his way? Tao Xian, did you see that? A mere junior dares to talk nonsense in front of me. The wavering light sacred leader's expression did not change. He was not angered by Jun Haoyan, and spoke in a calm tone. His purpose was simple. He wanted to make Jun Haoyan pay the price. That's right, Tao Xian. A junior is too presumptuous, isn't he? The wavering light sacred leader has already given him a chance. As a junior, the holy son of Haoyan is too arrogant. Just as Tao Xian was about to speak, another two terrifying auras appeared and covered the heavens and the earth. Two figures, one in green and one in gold, appeared in the void. They stepped on the heavens and the earth. Every step they took covered a distance of tens of thousands of miles. They landed steadily behind the wavering light sacred ground. In an instant, the powerful aura in the void erupted again and suppressed everything. It was vaguely suppressing Tao Xian. After the two of them appeared, countless people began to tremble. They could not help but kneel down. These two people were the sacred leader of Luotian and the sacred leader of Qingyan. The three sacred leaders had joined forces to launch an attack. Their purpose was to make the holy son of Haoyan pay the price. Chapter 169. A vast aura spread between heaven and earth, causing the mountains and rivers to tremble. An aura that was powerful enough to destroy the world descended upon the surrounding area. Even peerless geniuses like the Kunlun Saintess and the Linglong Saintess were stunned. In the void, their expressions were solemn, and their hearts were trembling. What was happening in front of them had completely exceeded their imagination. Now that things had developed to this point, even they were not qualified to interfere. Right now, it was no longer something that the younger generation could participate in. It had completely turned into a battle between the strongest cultivators in Eastern Wilderness. Regardless of whether it was the Holy Lord of Langia, the Alcate Sacred Leader, the All-Heaven Sacred Leader, or the Azure Cloud Sacred Leader. The talents of these sacred lords when they were young could be said to be at the peak of talent. They were also once the pinnacle of their generation. Now, they were also standing at the pinnacle of the martial god continent. They had become the sacred leaders of the seven sacred grounds, the true masters of everything. Every word and action of these four peerless existences could cause huge waves in the entire Eastern Wilderness. But now, they had gathered at the Alcate Sacred Ground because of a junior. They even wanted to make a big fuss. Since ancient times, such a thing had never happened before. No one had expected that an ordinary battle for the Holy Sun would escalate to such an extent. Once the battle between the four sacred leaders went out of control, it would be a catastrophe for the entire Eastern Wilderness. At this moment, everyone was silently watching this scene. No one was allowed to interrupt the conversation between the four sacred leaders. Jun Haoyan frowned slightly as he watched this scene. Jun Haoyan felt a little uncomfortable facing the three sacred leaders, but there was no trace of fear in his heart. When he had decided to kill the Alcate Holy Sun, he had already expected this to happen. He did not have a trace of regret in his heart. If he could do it all over again, he would still kill the Alcate Holy Sun. As if sensing Jun Haoyan's determination, Tao Xian turned around and looked at Jun Haoyan. Soon after, he nodded his head without leaving a trace. Then, he faced the three holy masters again and said, "Could it be that all of you want to suppress a junior together?" Dao Yan's tone carried a trace of indifference. Back then, he and the three holy lords were competitors. Back then, there was no clear winner or loser between them. At this moment, he was fearless in the face of the three holy masters. Jun Haoyan, the holy son of Langia, was able to kill four holy sons by himself. As the holy lord Langia, how could he be afraid of the three holy lands? Tao Xian, this person has committed such a huge crime. Are you still going to protect him? The All-Heaven Sacred Leader stepped forward. His body was covered in a golden light, and his eyes would occasionally shoot out golden light. He looked at Jun Haotian with a cold glint in his eyes. The Holy Sun, Zhuozhongtong, had died in the hands of Jun Haotian. This made him furious. Tao Xian, you have to think carefully. As the Holy Sun, you have to be so arrogant. Sooner or later, you will get into big trouble. The Green Cloud Sacred Leader also spoke with a hint of warning. At this moment, the three holy masters were united. A powerful and peerless aura swept across the area. Countless people were in disbelief when they saw this. The Holy Son of Haotian's actions had actually made the three holy masters step in personally. Even if the Holy Son of Haotian was suppressed in the next moment, he would still be famous. Ha ha ha. What does the Holy Son of Lengia have to do with you? Hearing this, Tao Xian laughed and said coldly, how could he not see that the three of them were obviously using this as a pretext to make a fuss? They wanted to take revenge for their fallen Holy Son. At the same time, they wanted to get rid of the peerless genius Haotian, the Holy Son of Haotian. Although they were all holy sons, the Alcate Holy Son, and the rest were easily killed by Haotian, the Holy Son of Haotian. Moreover, he had defeated the stronger Haotian as the weaker one. Such monstrous talent could only be called monstrous. The only one who could be compared to him was the Holy Son of Lengia, Baiming Han, from 30,000 years ago. It was obvious that the three sacred masters were unwilling to see an existence like Baiming Han in the Lengia sacred ground. No matter what you say today, I will not allow anyone to touch Haotian. He is the Holy Son of Lengia, and the only Holy Son. He will also be the only Holy Son in the future, until he becomes the Holy Lord of Lengia in the future. Tao Xian spoke forcefully in front of the three holy masters. If you want to suppress the future Holy Lord of Lengia in front of me, you will have to ask for my permission. Since they had already torn off all pretenses, there was no need to be polite. The moment Dao Yan's words came out, it immediately intimidated everyone present. From Dao Profound's mouth, everyone obtained a shocking piece of news. The Holy Son of Haotian had already been chosen by the Holy Lord of Lengia to be the next Holy Lord of Lengia. What was a Holy Master? A Holy Master was the supreme existence of a holy land. He represented a holy land of the human race. Declaring war on a Holy Master was undoubtedly declaring war on a holy land. He would have to bear the wrath of a holy land. Therefore, when Tao Xian announced that the Holy Son of Haotian would be the next Holy Master of Lengia, everyone was shocked. Everyone present was shocked. In order to protect the Holy Son of Haotian, the Holy Lord of Lengia had actually made such a shocking decision. Even the Alcate Holy Master and the other two Holy Masters were shocked. If it was really as the Holy Lord of Lengia had said, then the Holy Son of Haotian would be the next Holy Master of Lengia. Now that they had taken action to suppress the Holy Son of Haotian, it was directly provoking a war between the Holy Lands. The consequences of a war between the Holy Lands would be extremely important. Blood would flow like a river, and billions of lives would be annihilated. Tao Xian, is what you said true? The Alcate Holy Master spoke with a dangerous look in his eyes. You have to think about the consequences. We represent the three holy lands. The Azure Cloud Holy Master and the Daliao Holy Master also took a step forward. At this moment, their expressions were extremely serious. They guessed that the Holy Lord of Lengia had said those words to protect the Holy Son of Haotian. How could the Holy Master of a holy land be so easily decided? The three Holy Masters were certain that Tao Xian was right. It was not credible. No matter what, a heaven-defying existence like the Holy Son of Haotian must not be allowed to grow. He must not be allowed to live. So what if it's the three holy lands? Ever since the Lord of Lengia established the Lengia Holy Land 180,000 years ago, we have never been afraid of anything. Haotian is the Holy Son of the Lengia Holy Land. Today I, Tao Xian, will protect him. Tao Xian spoke with a firm tone, and did not back down. This sentence deeply shocked everyone present. When the three holy masters heard this, they immediately took a step forward, as if they were going to attack in the next moment. Come on, if you want to fight, then come on. The Holy Lord of Lengia, Tao Xian, took a step forward with an extraordinary aura. At this moment, a peerless painting scroll slowly appeared behind Tao Xian, containing the mountains, rivers, and earth. Boom! An extremely powerful force suppressed the universe, as if a supreme being had walked out from the 9 heavens. At this moment, the heavens and earth were crying out in sorrow. Langya's mountain river painting. Tao Xian, are you crazy? You actually dared to use a supreme weapon. The 3 holy masters retreated in disbelief. Tao Xian wanted to protect the holy son of Hao Tian. He actually used a supreme weapon. Chapter 2. The powerful Tao Xian, a terrifying aura permeated between the heavens and the earth. At this moment, a painting scroll of mountains, rivers, and flowers slowly appeared behind Tao Xian. On top of it was a depiction of mountains and rivers, high mountains and flowing water, stars in the void, flowers and grass. It was as if there was an entire world inside. Seeing this painting, Jun Haoyan felt that it was somewhat familiar. Back then, when he fought during the Holy Son's coronation ceremony, it was a painting scroll. It seemed to be similar to this mountain river painting. However, the only difference was that the power displayed by the mountain and river diagram was incomparably terrifying. The moment it appeared, a monstrous aura enveloped millions of miles of mountains and rivers. Under the sky, billions of living beings knelt on the ground, trembling. It was as if they were waiting for the supreme ruler's judgment. All the martial artists felt as if there was a mountain pressing down on their heads, making it difficult for them to breathe. Billions of mortals knelt on the ground, praying to the heavens for mercy. With such power, even the spectating experts were shocked. At this moment, the 3 holy masters looked at the Langya's mountain river painting behind Tao Xian, their expressions extremely solemn. These 3 people who stood at the peak of eastern wilderness could not help but retreat as they looked at the mountain river painting. They stared at Tao Xian, their eyes filled with disbelief. Using a supreme weapon. Was Tao Xian crazy? The power of a supreme weapon was enough to shatter the entire eastern wilderness. Was he really going to start a war in the human race's holy land? Looking at Tao Xian, the 3 holy masters did not dare to act rashly, for fear of angering Tao Xian. Seeing this scene, even Jun Haoyan, who was standing behind Tao Xian, was stunned. Was his holy master so powerful and unyielding? That was a supreme weapon. Every supreme being could only create one supreme weapon in their lifetime. Every supreme weapon was like the reincarnation of a supreme being. What kind of existence was a supreme being? They stood at the peak of the entire martial god continent. Once they attacked, it would be earth-shattering and earth-shattering. At this moment, Tao Xian had taken out his supreme weapon. It was equivalent to starting a full-scale war. It would not stop until one of them died. Even Jun Haoyan did not expect this. The Holy Lord of Langya was willing to go to such an extent for him. Tao Xian, are you crazy? Do you know what you are doing? Stop, Tao Xian. Quickly put away your supreme weapon, or the consequences will be unimaginable. At this moment, the 3 holy masters tried to persuade Tao Xian. They were trying to stop Tao Xian's actions. He had used his supreme weapon without saying anything. Today, they had finally witnessed the madness of the Holy Lord of Langya. Each of the 7 great holy lands of the human race had a supreme weapon that was used to suppress fate. However, facing Tao Xian's supreme weapon, they did not have the guts to take it out. There was no other reason. Once 2 supreme weapons met, they would lose control and fight uncontrollably. In a sense, a supreme weapon represented a supreme being. Every supreme being could be said to be invincible in the world. No supreme being would think that they were inferior to others. The supreme weapon, which was born with the will of a supreme being, would naturally think the same. Once 2 supreme weapons met, there would definitely be a victor. At that time, they would have to pay a huge price to reseal the supreme weapon. Even the holy lands of the human race, which had a strong foundation, could not bear such a price. At this moment, seeing Tao Xian take out his supreme weapon without a care for anything else, the 3 holy masters were naturally extremely afraid. They were even a little afraid. The ancestors of the various holy lands had once said that they could not use their supreme weapons unless it was a matter of life and death. Since ancient times, the various holy lands had always followed this ancestral rule. Unless the Holy Lands were on the brink of destruction, they could not use their supreme weapons. It was also because of this ancestral rule that the three Holy Masters were so shocked by Tao Xian taking out his supreme weapon. If even the three Holy Masters were so shocked, the spectators were even more so. At this moment, everyone looked at Tao Xian with goosebumps on their scalps and cold sweat flowing down their backs. A supreme weapon's attack was unstoppable. If Tao Xian were to fight without a care for anything else, today, everyone present would die in the aftermath of the supreme weapon's attack. There were also many people who sighed with emotion. The holy son of Haotian was not acting so arrogantly without a reason. Didn't they see how the Holy Lord of Langya was acting without a care for the consequences? When Tao Xian heard the three Holy Masters' words, he laughed softly. Everyone wants to kill the future Holy Master of the Langya Holy Lands. How can I not fight with my life on the line? Now, I only want to say one thing. If the Holy Son of Haotian dies in the hands of someone of the same generation, I, Tao Xian, will not say a word. However, if some shameless people want to bully the young, then don't blame me, Tao Xian, for being merciless. I will come with the mountain and river painting of Langya to exterminate your family. In the void, Tao Xian spoke slowly, shocking countless people. His words had a deeper meaning. It was not only directed at the three Holy Masters, but also at the entire martial god continent. If that old man dared to touch the Holy Son of Haotian, Tao Xian would come with the mountain and river painting to pay him a visit. When they heard Tao Xian's words, many of the older generation martial artists were filled with emotions. They remembered clearly. When he was young, Tao Xian was a reasonable person. How did it become like this? It was really puzzling. Okay, Tao Xian, I promise you, this matter is over. However, you have to remember what you said. If the Holy Son of Haotian dies in the hands of someone of the same generation, don't go back on your words. The wavering light sacred leader said with a hint of warning. At this moment, he could only compromise in the face of Tao Xian's craziness. Otherwise, what would he do? Fight with Tao Xian with a supreme weapon? This was the wavering light sacred ground. If they fought, the entire wavering light sacred ground would collapse. Although he was a sacred leader, he could not bear such a loss. In this case, he could only take a step back. Of course, hearing that, Tao Xian chuckled, and then put away the mountain and river painting of Langya. At this moment, the area within a radius of close to 1,000,000 miles was relieved. The pressure of the supreme weapon instantly disappeared. Feeling the disappearance of the pressure, billions of living beings immediately heaved a sigh of relief. At this moment, Jun Haotian looked at Tao Xian. He suddenly realized there was a trace of sweat on the forehead of the Holy Lord of Langya. This was because no one had noticed the previous pressure of the supreme weapon. In fact, Jun Haotian could even feel Tao Xian's slightly tense body. He had used the supreme weapon. Even the Holy Lord of Langya was afraid of it. This was what it meant to be calm on the surface. In fact, he was panicking internally. Jun Haotian thought to himself, Haotian, when we return to the sacred ground, I will punish you severely. Feeling Jun Haotian's gaze, Tao Xian directly scolded Jun Haotian. Quickly go back and bring the disciples of Langya back to the sacred ground. If anything happens to them, I will not forgive you. After saying that, the Holy Lord of Langya took a step forward and disappeared into the void. This disciple will follow the Holy Lord's orders. Jun Haotian bowed and looked very relaxed. Although Tao Xian was scolding him, in fact, he could feel that the Holy Lord of Langya was protecting him. This was the true love of an elder for a junior. At this moment, Jun Haotian suddenly felt a few murderous gazes. He turned his head slightly. Those murderous gazes, they were from the three Holy Lords. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Three Holy Lords. This junior will take his leave. Looking at the three Holy Lords in front of him, Jun Haotian said softly. His tone was very calm, without a trace of politeness or respect, as if he was talking to a passerby. He did not have the attitude of a junior talking to an elder. He also did not care about the supreme status of the three Holy Lords in front of him. At this point, even if they had become enemies, Jun Haotian did not have to put on an act. Even if it was fake on the surface. When the Alcade Holy Lord heard Jun Haotian's words, he narrowed his eyes slightly. Then, a smile appeared on the Alcade Holy Lord's face. Haha, Haotian, I hope you can continue to grow smoothly. The threat in his words was self-evident. However, his words obviously could not scare Jun Haotian. After the Holy Lord Tao Xian created such a ruckus, which old man would dare to attack him so openly? That would be courting death. Ignoring the Alcade Holy Lord, Jun Haotian did not plan to stay in the Alcade sacred ground. In the next moment, he opened his flame wings and quickly left the Alcade sacred ground's territory. After Jun Haotian left, the onlookers also left the Alcade sacred ground. To these people, too many things had happened today. Until now, they still felt like they were in a dream. They sighed in their hearts. The eastern wilderness, which had always been peaceful, was stirred up by a young man. It was really shocking. In short, no matter what, the name Holy Son of Haotian would not only spread throughout the eastern wilderness. Even all the major forces in the martial god continent would notice him. The name Haotian would be completely known throughout the world. Jun Haotian turned into a stream of light and quickly arrived outside the Xianyuan Supreme Being's ruins. The reason why he did not return to the Langya sacred ground directly was that Feng Xiaoyao and the other Langya disciples were still waiting for him. Behind him, the Jade Lake Saintess, Guyuahuang, followed him. Looking at Jun Haotian's back, Guyuahuang did not speak for a long time. Her gaze was complicated. What had happened today was also incomparably shocking to her. In the Supreme Being's ruins, Guyuahuang knew that Jun Haotian was very powerful. However, she had never imagined that Jun Haotian's strength would be so strong. Greetings, Holy Son. Greetings, Saintess. When Jun Haotian and Guyuahuang appeared in the void outside the Supreme Being's ruins, the people from the Langya sacred ground and the Jade Lake sacred ground bowed one after another. At this moment, whether it was the people from the Langya sacred ground or the Jade Lake sacred ground, they all looked at Jun Haotian with extreme admiration. Obviously, these people already knew about Jun Haotian's deeds. He had chased the Alcade Holy Sun for 100,000 miles. In front of the Alcade sacred ground, in front of the Alcade sacred leader, he had directly killed the Alcade Holy Sun. Such a magnificent feat. When Feng Xiaoyao and the others heard this, they were extremely shocked. At this moment, the female disciples of the Jade Lake sacred ground were also looking at Jun Haotian curiously. There was even admiration in some of the female disciples' eyes. Like the Linglong sacred ground, the Jade Lake sacred ground only accepted female disciples. The only saintess of the Jade Lake sacred ground was Guyuahuang. Holy Son, we have searched for a long time, but we still can't find junior sister Jun. At this moment, Feng Xiaoyao, Bailey Xuanzi, De Gubo, and the others stood in front of Jun Haotian, looking very disappointed. They blamed themselves in their hearts. Jun Moyo's disappearance was largely caused by them. Hearing this, Jun Haotian immediately maintained his silence. Jun Haotian learned from Feng Xiaoyao. After Jun Moyo had completely activated the power in her body, it was as if she had become a different person. With a casual point of her finger, she cut open the sky of the Supreme Being's ruins and disappeared instantly. As for where Jun Moyo was now, Jun Haotian had no way of knowing. It seemed that if he wanted to get information about Jun Moyo, he would have to ask for Tao Xian's help. Although he didn't know where Jun Moyo was, Jun Haotian was sure that Jun Moyo's life was not in danger. At this moment, he could still vaguely sense the mark in Jun Moyo's body. Although he couldn't sense the position of the mark, Jun Haotian could guarantee that Jun Moyo was safe now. At this thought, Jun Haotian decided to put this matter aside. Then he looked at Guyuahuang and said slowly, "Thank you for today's matter." Jun Haotian was naturally referring to the people Guyuahuang had sent to take care of Bailey Xuanzi, Feng Xiaoyao, and the others. "It's my duty." Hearing this, Guyuahuang's face revealed a smile. As the top goddess of the eastern wilderness, this smile could be said to be a peerless sight. "The promise I made in the Supreme Ruins is still valid. If you need that item, you can come and find me at any time." As she spoke, Guyuahuang took out a jade talisman and handed it to Jun Haotian. This jade talisman had a mark left behind by Guyuahuang. As long as he injected his true yuan, she would be able to sense it. Alright, it's a deal. Hearing this, Jun Haoyan took the jade talisman and nodded with a smile. He naturally knew what Gu Yuahuang was referring to. It was none other than the 7 treasures Bodhi seed. Gu Yuahuang had always thought that she had benefited greatly by obtaining the 7 treasures Bodhi seed. But if she knew that there was a 7 treasures Bodhi tree in Jun Haoyan's body, how would she feel? Then we'll take our leave first. See you again. Gu Yuahuang smiled and prepared to leave with the disciples of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. However, Jun Haoyan thought of something and asked again, "Have you heard of Ji Yunhan? She's from the Kunlun Sacred Ground." Ji Yunhan. Jun Haoyan was naturally asking about the Kunlun saintess who betrayed the holy son of Langya, Bai Minghan. Since he had already promised Bai Minghan to kill Ji Yunhan, Jun Haoyan naturally had to find out more information. However, after hearing this, Gu Yuahuang frowned slightly. She thought for a long time and then shook her head. I don't know that there's someone with this name in the Kunlun Sacred Ground. However, the current holy son of Kunlun is called Ji Tianxing. Ji Tianxing? Ji Yunhan? Jun Haoyan lowered his head and pondered. These two must be related. Thank you, Jun Haoyan said, intending to find the answer himself. By the way, Saintess, if you meet someone called Nailan Shui, in the Jade Lake Sacred Ground, can you take care of her for me? She's my friend. Gu Yuahuang narrowed her eyes slightly. Of course, she had never heard of this name. However, Jun Haoyan asked her to take care of a female disciple. Could it be both of them? At this moment, Gu Yuahuang felt irritable for no reason. Saintess, don't misunderstand. She's just an old friend, Jun Haoyan explained. Okay, I promise you. Gu Yuahuang spoke and communicated with Jun Haoyan for a while. Then, she left with the female disciples of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. Holy Son, what about us? Feng Xiaoyao and the others stood behind Jun Haoyan and asked slowly. The Xianyuan Supreme Being's ruins have been closed, and they were the only ones left. Let's go back to the Langya Sacred Ground, Jun Haoyan said and made up his mind. Although the matter had been resolved now, there were still many things waiting for him to do, whether it was Jun Moyo's whereabouts or his promise to Bai Minghan. In the aftermath of killing the 3 Holy Sun, there were even the Demon Clan elites who were rumored to be on good terms with Xiang Holy Sun. He had to deal with all of them. However, all of these, Jun Haoyan was fearless. No matter what he had to face, he only had one goal: to sweep away all enemies in front of him. Chapter 170. Langya Sacred Ground. Langya Sacred Ground. The Holy Lord Tao Xian was sitting cross-legged in the main hall. Although he was only wearing an ordinary black robe, the aura of a peerless elite spread out. This aura was soul-stirring. As the Holy Lord of Langya, he was already considered to be one of the most powerful people in Wushan continent. However, the Holy Lord of Langya kept a very low profile. He had always lived in seclusion. Unless something major happened, the Holy Lord of Langya would not easily appear. Just like how Jun Haoyan had killed the 4 Holy Sons, the Holy Lord of Langya had no choice but to appear. At this moment, the Holy Lord of Langya was sitting in the main hall with his eyes closed. He was calm, as if he had entered the state of being one with the heavens. You're back. Since an unknown time, Dao Yin suddenly opened his eyes, his gaze looking towards the entrance of the hall. There, a young man in a purple robe slowly stepped into the main hall, as if the Son of God had descended. With every step the young man took, he exuded an otherworldly aura. Although there was no true origin around him, he exuded a powerful aura. The young man was the only holy son in Langya Sacred Ground, the holy son of Hao Tian, who had just killed the 4 Holy Sun and caused a commotion in Eastern Wilderness. Jun Haoyan. Greetings, Holy Lord. Jun Haoyan walked slowly to Tao Xian and bowed slightly. His gaze was indifferent. After successfully bringing Feng Xiaoyao and the others back to Langya Sacred Ground, Jun Haoyan immediately came to report to the Holy Lord. Still can't find them? Tao Xian looked at Jun Haoyan and nodded. Tao Xian did not mention a word about Jun Haoyan killing the 4 Holy Sons. At this point, there was no need to pursue the matter. Moreover, in Tao Xian's heart, he admired Jun Haoyan's way of doing things. Killing the 4 holy sons on his own had imperceptibly boosted the prestige of Langya's sacred ground. Tao Xian had never thought of punishing Jun Haoyan. At this moment, he was asking about Langya's holy son Baiming Han. Jun Haoyan pondered deeply for a moment when he heard this, and then he slowly described what had occurred in the ruins of Exalt Xianyuan. He also told him about what happened to Baiming Han. Of course, he concealed the matter of Ji Yunhan betraying Baiming Han. It had been 30,000 years since the incident with Baiming Han. If Ji Yunhan was still alive, she would definitely be an old antique of the Kunlun Holy Land. In terms of status, identity and strength Han. He was Haoyan Han, Haoyan was Han. If he revealed the matter, it would not benefit Langya's sacred ground at all. Baiming Han had a very special position in Langya's sacred ground. If Langya's sacred ground found out that his death was because of the Kunlun Holy Daughter's betrayal, it could very well stir up a conflict between the two sacred grounds. If it were other sacred grounds, it would be fine. However, Kunlun's sacred ground was the #1 sacred ground of the human race after all. Even the Kunlun exquisite tribulation back then could not shake Kunlun's sacred ground's position as the #1 sacred ground. The depth of their foundation was far from what Langya's sacred ground could compare to. If the two sacred grounds were to go to war, Langya's sacred ground would definitely be at a disadvantage. This was not what Jun Haoyan wanted to see, nor was it what Baiming Han wished for. Therefore, Jun Haoyan did not mention Ji Yunhan, the Kunlun Holy Daughter, when he told his story. When Tao Xian heard that Baiming Han was only left with a piece of human skin in the end, a look of vicissitudes appeared on his face. He asked you not to bring him back to Langya's sacred ground. Hearing that, Jun Haoyan nodded slowly. Jun Haoyan did not tell Tao Xian about the 7 treasures Bodhi tree either. However, he guessed that the Holy Lord should know something. Perhaps in Tao Xian's eyes, he would not care about these things. As long as Jun Haoyan was the holy son of Langya's sacred ground, that was all that mattered. Since it's his last wish, then let's do as he wishes. After a long while, Tao Xian spoke again. His tone did not have any intention of blaming Jun Haoyan, but it was a little regretful. Hearing that, Jun Haoyan also nodded. Since he had promised Baiming Han, he would definitely do it. Thinking about Jun Moyo, Jun Haoyan took another step forward and looked at Tao Xian. I know what you want to ask. I don't know anything about Jun Moyo. Elder Yu Xian, please come out. As he spoke, Tao Xian slowly looked at the other side of Langya's sacred ground. Jun Haoyan turned his gaze over, only to see a grand elder slowly walking out. Although he looked extremely old, the aura on his body was extremely shocking. This Grand Supreme Elder Yu Xian was the one who brought Jun Moyo from Soaring Dragon City to Langya's sacred ground. At the same time, he was also Jun Moyo's master. Regarding MOU, I only know that she is extremely talented. I don't know anything else. Grand Supreme Elder Yu Xian sighed as he arrived at the sacred ground. His words revealed that even he, as the master, did not know about Jun Moyo's secret. Hearing that, Jun Haoyan's face flashed with disappointment, but he remained silent. However, he was secretly guessing in his heart. Could it be that other than Xiang Holy Sun, no one else in this world knew about her secret? What was the origin of the snow lotus mark on Jun Moyo's forehead, and the power hidden in her body? If you really want to find out, you might have to go to Linglong's sacred ground. However, just as Jun Haoyan was silent, Grand Supreme Elder Yu Xian spoke. He actually mentioned Linglong's sacred ground. Hearing that, even Tao Xian looked at Grand Supreme Elder Yu Xian with some confusion. How did Linglong's sacred ground get involved in this matter? Grand Supreme Elder Yu Xian did not keep them in suspense, and told them about an unknown past. As it turned out, when he found Jun Moyo that day, there was also a Grand Supreme Elder from Linglong's sacred ground present. That Grand Supreme Elder from Linglong's sacred ground stopped Yu Xian and asked him to leave Jun Moyo behind. That Grand Supreme Elder from Linglong's sacred ground also said that she came on the orders of the Linglong sacred leader. Looking at her, she seemed to be very worried about Jun Moyo. Naturally, Yu Xian was not willing to give up on a genius like Jun Moyo, so he immediately fought with the Grand Supreme Elder from Linglong's sacred ground. However, for some reason, that Grand Supreme Elder from Linglong's sacred ground suddenly stopped. After that, she even allowed Yu Xian to take Jun Moyo away. At that time, I felt that it was very strange. Now that I think about it, the Linglong sacred leader must know something. Grand Supreme Elder Yu Xian said as he pondered. The Linglong sacred leader. After hearing what Grand Supreme Elder Yu Xian said, Jun Haoyan and Tao Xian were stunned. They did not expect this at all. This matter would involve the Linglong sacred leader, the legendary woman who was known as the most powerful person in Eastern Wilderness. It seems like the secret on Elder Sister's body is extraordinary, Jun Haoyan thought to himself. Jun Moyo actually has the shadow of the Linglong sacred leader. This matter is getting more and more confusing. No matter what, I must find my sister. Jun Haoyan made up his mind. It seemed like he had to make a trip to the Linglong sacred ground. However, it was a little difficult to do so. The Linglong sacred ground was different from the other sacred grounds of the human race. Although they were all in Eastern Wilderness, they were in another dimension. No one knew the exact location of the Linglong sacred ground. It was not as easy to find the Linglong sacred leader as one might think. Tao Xian looked at Jun Haoyan and instantly guessed what he was thinking. I have a way to let you enter the Linglong sacred ground. Jun Haoyan was slightly delighted to hear that. Please enlighten me, sacred leader. Tao Xian smiled and waved his hand. It will be the Linglong sacred leader's birthday in a month's time. At that time, she will invite all the young talents in the world to attend her birthday celebration. On that day, not only the Eastern Wilderness, but even the Southern region, Western Desert, and Middle Ground will send people to attend her birthday celebration. And that will be your chance. Jun Haoyan's eyes lit up when he heard that. The Linglong sacred leader's birthday celebration? That's a good opportunity. He had long wanted to meet this legendary woman, who was known as the most powerful person in Eastern Wilderness. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation legend had it that the Linglong sacred leader, like him, had received an inheritance from the upper world. These experiences could be said to be legendary. Of course, that was just the imagination of the Holy Lord of Langia and the Grand Supreme Elders. The Linglong sacred leader had only cultivated for 3,000 years, and she was already known as the most powerful person in Eastern Wilderness. There was no first place in literature, and no second place in martial arts. The title of the most powerful person in Eastern Wilderness was not something that could be taken lightly. The Linglong sacred leader's reputation was earned through fighting. There was no exaggeration in it. During the Linglong sacred leader's rise, she had defeated countless peerless geniuses. Even the holy son of Kunlun, who was of the same generation as her, was no match for her. In the end, the Linglong sacred leader had created the seventh sacred ground of the human race by herself. That was definitely a legendary life. A month later, it would be the 3,000th birthday of this legendary existence. She was the most powerful person in Eastern Wilderness. Of course, countless people would go and congratulate her on such a grand occasion. Of course, to Jun Haoyan, it was also a great opportunity for him to enter the Linglong sacred ground. If you want to go to the Linglong sacred ground, you have to be very careful. The Linglong sacred leader's birthday is not a good thing for you. At that moment, Tao Xian suddenly spoke. A rare look of worry appeared on his face. Jun Haoyan had killed the holy son of the Alkate sacred ground, All Heaven sacred ground, and Qingyan sacred ground. Now he was in the limelight in Eastern Wilderness. The most powerful geniuses of the various factions all saw Jun Haoyan as their imaginary enemy. They wanted to defeat Jun Haoyan and become the new peerless genius. Meanwhile, the Alkate sacred ground, Qingyan sacred ground, and All Heaven sacred ground saw Jun Haoyan as a thorn in their side. They wanted to get rid of him. Although the three factions would not attack him openly, they could still kill him secretly. Moreover, Xiang Holy Sun had always been on good terms with Southern Border's Prince Jiao and other peerless geniuses. Xiang Holy Sun had died at the hands of Jun Haoyan. Prince Jiao had also set his sights on Jun Haoyan. As long as he had the chance, he would kill Jun Haoyan. Prince Jiao, the most powerful peerless genius in Southern Border. He was a powerful existence that could stand shoulder to shoulder with Kunlun's holy sun. It was not a good thing to be targeted by a peerless genius like him. In addition, the peerless geniuses of the Western Desert and Midland also wanted to meet Jun Haotian. You can't underestimate these people. At that moment, Tao Xian voiced his concern and warned Jun Haotian. These people were the most powerful among the younger generation. Tao Xian looked at Jun Haotian and said earnestly, "You must be careful when you go to the Linglong sacred ground." When Jun Haotian heard Tao Xian's words, there was no trace of fear on his face. Instead, he chuckled softly and said, "Don't worry, Holy Lord. I will definitely not lose in a battle between peers. This time, I will definitely make Langya famous again." Jun Haotian said confidently, "Haha, good. I admire your confidence." Hearing this, a smile appeared on Dao Yan's face. "Before you head to the Linglong sacred ground, I will open the mountain river diagram and let you enter it to cultivate. You should prepare well. Confidence is a good thing, but you must not underestimate others. Some of the most powerful peerless geniuses in Eastern Wilderness have even reached the Dharma stage. You must not be careless. As for the sacred leader's birthday gift, the Linglong sacred ground will prepare it for you." Tao Xian looked at Jun Haotian and said slowly. He had already arranged everything for Jun Haotian. He had even activated the supreme weapon to help Jun Haotian cultivate wholeheartedly. He wanted to help Jun Haotian reach a higher level in the shortest time possible. Only by possessing great power could one face all dangers head-on, and only then could one protect oneself. "Thank you, sacred leader." Hearing this, Jun Haotian bowed with a slightly moved expression. Activating the supreme weapon to help with cultivation required a large amount of resources. Normally, even the sacred leader would not use it frequently. But now, he had activated it just for him. He was going all out to cultivate him. Even Jun Haotian, who had always been cold, was moved. Although his temperament was cold, he was not a heartless person. "If you respect me, I will return the favor tenfold." Jun Haotian would never mistreat those who were sincere to him. If he could reach the peak of the Wushan continent in the future, he would definitely support the Langya sacred ground and make it the most powerful force in the Wushan continent. "All right, the elders and I will prepare for 3 days. After 3 days, you will come to the Langya sacred ground." Tao Xian looked at Jun Haotian and said, "Using the supreme weapon would consume too many resources. They all needed to prepare." "Yes," Jun Haotian said, then left the Langya sacred ground. Looking at Jun Haotian's departing figure, Dao Yan's eyes revealed a gratified expression. He knew that he had not misjudged him. Without hesitation, he headed to the Langya sacred ground, prepared to activate the supreme weapon. Haotian Godly Peak. Practice Hall. Jun Haotian had just finished meeting the true disciples. There was only one voice in the Langya sacred ground. When he returned, all of the true disciples came to express their loyalty to him. It could be said that, in the entire Langya sacred ground, only he, the Holy Son of Langya, revered him. As for the Xiang Holy Son, he had long been forgotten. Death was like an extinguished lamp. No one cared about a dead person. However, Jun Haotian did not care much about power. He knew that only strength was eternal. Therefore, he left everything to Feng Xiaoyao and the others. As for Jun Haotian, he entered seclusion. He sorted out all the energy in his body. Within his dantian, 5 cracked yuan dan emitted a gentle light. It represented Jun Haotian's 5th level of the Imperial Dao realm. Under the yuan dan, a 7 treasures Bodhi tree that emitted boundless divine light stood. Thousands of emerald leaves emanated a refreshing aura. It looked very gentle. 99 Bodhi seeds were located in various corners of the tree, moving without wind. This was the #1 spiritual root on the martial god continent. With just a glance, Jun Haotian felt his mind calm down, as if he had a new understanding of heaven and earth. He shrunk his soul and sank into his dantian. It was like a strange phenomenon described in myths. His soul sat cross-legged under the Bodhi tree. Under the endless light, Jun Haotian's soul seemed to be on the verge of ascending. Ding! The sign-in time has been refreshed. Does the host wish to sign in? At this moment, the long-awaited system notification sounded in Jun Haotian's mind. Sign in. Without any hesitation, Jun Haoyan decisively gave the order. Chapter 3, Creation Jade Disc Ding. Congratulations to the host for signing in successfully. You have obtained a fragment of the Creation Jade Disc. A fragment of the Creation Jade Disc. After hearing the system notification, Jun Haoyan was stunned. Then, a trace of ecstasy appeared on his face. It was actually this heavenly Tao treasure. He knew better than anyone how precious this thing was. The Creation Jade Disc. According to legend, the Creation Jade Disc contained primordial violet energy. What was primordial violet energy? That was something that only the Supreme Saints had. Saints were even more powerful than Supremes. Perhaps only the legendary God realm had such existences. Even though he had only obtained a fragment of the Creation Jade Disc, and there was only a tiny strand of primordial violet energy within it. But to the current Jun Haoyan, it was already extremely heaven-defying. The energy contained within this strand of primordial violet energy was enormous and terrifying. Not only could it help Jun Haoyan cultivate smoothly in the Imperial Tao realm, but it could also allow him to sense a trace of comprehension of the heavenly Tao. What was comprehension of the heavenly Tao? It was something that surpassed ordinary comprehension of the heavenly Tao. Even the Supremes of the martial god continent pursued this kind of comprehension. Such a strand of primordial violet energy. Even the Supremes would be tempted by it. But Jun Haoyan had actually obtained a strand of primordial violet energy at the Imperial Tao realm. Needless to say, he was heaven-defying. This strand of primordial violet energy would be extremely helpful to Jun Haoyan's path of cultivation. In the future, Jun Haoyan would be able to attain a profound level in all sorts of cultivation by relying on the primordial violet energy. It was even to the extent that it could help Jun Haoyan comprehend the heavenly Tao once Jun Haoyan became an exalt. In other words, this strand of primordial violet energy was the crux of an exalt's ascension. I never expected that I would actually be able to obtain something like this from signing in. At this moment, Jun Haoyan's face was still covered in excitement. He believed that so long as he refined and absorbed this strand of primordial violet energy, the energy contained within it would directly push him to the peak of the Imperial Tao realm. That was a step further. He would be able to condense a nascent soul projection. After all, he'd stepped into the Imperial Tao realm less than a month ago. He'd directly advanced from the Imperial Tao realm to the nascent soul projection realm in a single month. How heaven-defying was that? Even the number one genius of all time, the Linglong Divine Lord, couldn't compare to him. When he thought up to here, Jun Haoyan immediately prepared to refine the Creation Jade Disc and absorb the primordial violet energy. Holy Son, the Divine Lord invites you in. But right at this moment, Lin Luoshua's voice sounded from outside. Only when he heard Lin Luoshua's voice did Jun Haoyan recall. In order to help him quickly increase his strength, the Holy Lord Tao Xian had specially activated the supreme artifact, the mountain and river diagram. He had allowed him to enter the world of the mountain and river diagram and comprehend the heavenly Tao. Jun Haoyan had been so busy cultivating that he'd almost forgotten about this. Just nice. I should be able to refine primordial violet energy even faster if I cultivate in the supreme artifact. Jun Haoyan's eyes lit up, and he immediately walked out of the cultivation hall. Then he directly left Haoyan Divine Peak. A moment later, Jun Haoyan arrived at the Langia Sacred Realm. As soon as he stepped into the Langia Sacred Realm, Jun Haoyan felt the boundless vital energy of heaven and earth. In the void, all kinds of divine lights flashed. There were also pavilions and various auspicious beasts. It was like a paradise on earth. Haoyan, you're here. Coming quickly. Right at this moment, the Holy Lord Langia Tao Xian's voice came from inside. Hearing that, Jun Haoyan didn't hesitate and directly went in the direction of the voice. Soon, a huge scroll of mountains and rivers appeared before Jun Haoyan's eyes. Upon closer inspection, he realized that the scroll almost included the entire martial god continent, and it was currently emitting an unparalleled pressure. Looking at the scroll, Jun Haoyan was extremely shocked. This was the supreme artifact left behind by the Lord Langia. The Langia Mountain and River Diagram. During the crowning ceremony, Jun Haoyan had seen a peerless scroll. It was a supreme-grade Dharma artifact, a replica of the mountain and river diagram. Jun Haoyan turned his gaze and saw the bottom of the mountain and river diagram. Several Langya's Grand Supreme Elders were continuously channeling energy into the mountain and river diagram. And beside each Grand Supreme Elder, there were hundreds of millions of vital stones as energy support. Adding up the essence stones here, it was likely as many as 100 billion. Such a huge amount of wealth made Jun Haoyan sigh. In his memory, the Jun family's annual income was only a few thousand vital stones. As expected of one of the 7 great sacred lands of the human race, they could casually take out hundreds of billions of vital stones. In the eyes of rogue cultivators, such wealth was a huge gap. But in the sacred lands, it was ordinary. This was the rich foundation of a sacred land. Haoyan, we can only keep the mountain and river diagram open for 25 days. During this time, you have to seize the time to cultivate. You'll be out in 25 days, just in time for Linglong Saint's birthday. I will obey the sacred lord's orders. Hearing this, Jun Haoyan said respectfully, okay, hurry up and enter the mountain and river diagram. Don't waste any more time. The Holy Lord of Langya urged. Maintaining the supreme weapon consumed a lot of energy every second. Although the Langya sacred lands had a very rich foundation, vital stones were not water. They could not waste it without any scruples. Yes. Hearing this, Jun Haoyan nodded and directly entered the mountain and river diagram. When Jun Haoyan stepped into the mountain and river diagram, a vast and boundless aura swept out. The trajectory of the entire world was displayed one by one in front of his eyes. The mountains, rivers, and earth in the picture scroll were clearly presented in front of him. In here, he could feel the world without any scruples. Without wasting any time, Jun Haoyan sat on the ground with his legs crossed and began to feel the world. In the next moment, his soul sat under the 7 treasures Bodhi tree. He also activated the Jade of Fortune. A wisp of primordial purple vapor surged into his dantian. In just an instant, Jun Haoyan's understanding of the world and the vital qi in his body. It directly increased by several times. Whether it was the 7 treasures Bodhi tree, or the Jade of Fortune, or the supreme weapon to feel the world, they were all existences that could only be encountered by chance. Now all 3 were in Jun Haoyan's body. Such a creation. It was rare in the world. Just as Jun Haoyan entered seclusion, a storm was brewing on the Wushan continent. The news of the Linglong Sacred Lord's 3000th birthday was about to spread. The entire Wushan continent began to boil. The Eastern Wilderness Sacred Lands, the Zhongzhou dynasty, the Demon Clan, and other top forces all began to operate. Especially when the news that the Holy Son of Great Heaven was about to represent the Langya Sacred Lands, to visit the Linglong Sacred Lands for the birthday celebration spread. It also attracted the attention of many top prodigies. The Holy Son of Great Heaven had only been famous for a few months. He had killed 4 Holy Sun and was ranked as the strongest in Eastern Wilderness. Whether it was the Holy Son of Eastern Wilderness, the princes of the 4 ancient dynasties of Zhongzhou, or the Buddhas of the Western Desert, even the prodigies of the Southern Borders Demon Clan, were very interested in Jun Haoyan. There was even a rumor that the Prince of Zhongzhou would fight with Jun Haoyan at the Linglong Sacred Lord's birthday celebration. At the same time, it would add some excitement to the Linglong Sacred Lord's birthday celebration. As everyone knew, there was an unwritten rule on the Wushan continent. During the birthday banquet of the big shots, the juniors could compete. On one hand, it was to add excitement. On the other hand, the big shots who attended the birthday banquet would also be rewarded. It was precisely because of this that almost all the prodigies were staring at Jun Haoyan, the new #1 prodigy of Eastern Wilderness. Countless people secretly rubbed their palms, wanting to fight Jun Haoyan. It was also at this moment. The #1 prodigy of the Southern Borders Demon Clan, Prince Jiao, made an announcement to the entire Wushan continent. At the Linglong Sacred Lord's birthday celebration, he would definitely kill the Holy Son of Great Heaven and pay tribute to his good friend, Ziying Holy Son. Chapter 171. When Prince Jiao's words spread, the entire martial god continent was shaken. Many people knew that Xiang Holy Sun had a close relationship with Prince Jiao, the Fox Prince, and the other demon prodigies. When they learned that Xiang Holy Sun had been killed by Hao Tian Holy Sun, all the demon prodigies in southern border were enraged. However, because something big had happened to the demon race at that time, Prince Jiao and the others were unable to free themselves. That was why they had kept quiet for so long. Now that the Linglong sacred leader's 3000th birthday was a golden opportunity, Prince Jiao could no longer hold it in. He directly said that the day of Linglong's birthday would be the day he killed the Clear Sky Holy Sun. He wanted to use Hao Tian Holy Sun's head as a sacrifice to his good friend Xiang Holy Sun. This news shocked the entire Wushan continent. Prince Jiao was the top demon prodigy in southern border. Legend had it that he was a terrifying existence from the ancient demon continent. His background was terrifying. For so many years, Prince Jiao had never failed to fulfill any of his promises. Now, he announced that he would kill Hao Tian Holy Sun. He had to do it. This would naturally attract the attention of the entire Wushan continent. It wasn't just the Jiao prince. The four ancient empires of the Central Plains also spoke up. He declared that on the birthday of the Linglong saint, he would test whether the Clear Sky Saint was worthy of his reputation. Jun Haoyan had single-handedly killed the four Holy Sun in the Supreme Relic. With this achievement, he was known as the top prodigy in Eastern Wilderness. Together with the Kunlun Holy Sun, they were known as the twin prodigies of Eastern Wilderness. Although this kind of title seemed to be an honor, it was actually a fact. However, it was also troublesome. Many people who did not know Jun Haoyan's strength would be jealous of Jun Haoyan's fame and choose to provoke him. As for the Kunlun Holy Sun, he had been famous for a long time and was currently the top prodigy in Eastern Wilderness. No one could shake his position. But what about the Hao Tian Holy Sun? How long had it been since he debuted? He was known as the most powerful prodigy in Eastern Wilderness. Some people had not even seen Jun Haoyan in person. It was precisely because of this that there were countless people who wanted to step on Jun Haoyan's head to climb to the top. The Wushan continent, which had been calm before this, was now in turmoil because of the Linglong sacred leader's birthday and Hao Tian Holy Sun's birthday. Countless people focused their attention was focused on Jun Haoyan. He was looking forward to exchanging blows with this new prodigy and trampling him under his feet. At this moment, due to Jun Haoyan's rise, the martial god continent was in an uproar. However, what everyone did not know was that Jun Haoyan, who was at the center of the vortex, was currently immersed in cultivation. No matter how turbulent the world was, Jun Haoyan paid no attention to the outside world. He was fully immersed in his cultivation. At this moment, he was sitting cross-legged in the Langia landscape diagram. Ever since he entered the Langia mountain river diagram, Jun Haoyan had been cultivating there for a total of 20 days. Compared to 20 days ago, his physical body, cultivation, and true essence had improved. Jun Haoyan had undergone a qualitative change. His strength was dozens of times stronger than 20 days ago. At this moment, Jun Haoyan's eyes were closed. Powerful energy rippled around him. 9 cracks appeared on the Yuan Dan in his body. It represented his cultivation base at the 9th level of the Imperial Dao realm. The number of mammoth seeds in his body had also increased exponentially. It was a terrifying number of 800,000. Before long, Jun Haoyan would reach the 2nd level of the strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant. At that time, Jun Haoyan would obtain another all-heavens technique. At this moment, the strand of primordial violet energy within the jade disk of creation had transformed into a ray of primordial light that circled around his soul. Even though Jun Haoyan's cultivation had reached the 9th level of the Imperial Dao realm, but the might of the strand of primordial violet energy didn't seem to have decreased at all. This strand of primordial violet energy, it would be of great use to Jun Haoyan once he became an exalt. There are only 5 days left. It's time to break through to the 10th level of the Imperial Dao realm. Jun Haoyan slowly opened his eyes and muttered to himself when he sensed his strength. At this moment, he was in the same situation as he was in the Exalt ruins. Even though his cultivation had reached the 10th level of the Imperial Dao realm, He hadn't experienced the tribulation of the heavens and the earth. So, Jun Haoyan had to successfully overcome the tribulation in these last 5 days. Only then could he truly become a 10th level Imperial Tao Realm cultivator. If it was anyone else, they would definitely have to prepare for a period of time before facing the tribulation of the heavens and the earth. But a mere tribulation of the heavens and the earth was nothing to Jun Haoyan, who possessed an extremely deep and profound foundation. Just like the Holy Lord of Langya and Tao Xian had said, he would definitely encounter a great deal of trouble on this trip to the Linglong sacred ground. If he didn't possess formidable strength, then he would probably be unable to take a single step forward. Moreover, his objective was to ask the number one expert of the Eastern Wilderness, the Linglong sacred leader, about this. Similarly, he needed to possess invincible strength in order to fulfill this requirement. Otherwise, others would only take him to be an ant. They wouldn't take him seriously at all. This was one of the biggest reasons why Jun Haoyan wanted to madly increase his cultivation. When he thought up to here, Jun Haoyan madly circulated the energy within his body. His vast true origin energy was like a surging river that was boundless and endless. It swept through every single meridian and corner of Jun Haoyan's body. Just like that, Jun Haoyan's cultivation rose explosively without end. In next to no time, 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. Kacha. At some point in time, a soft sound could be heard. A 10th crack suddenly appeared on Jun Haoyan's Yuan Dan. In the next moment, Jun Haoyan opened his eyes, and they erupted with rays of golden light. After that, Jun Haoyan stood up, and he didn't hesitate to take a step out of the Langya landscape diagram. He didn't hesitate at all to stand up. Haoyan. As soon as Jun Haoyan came out, Tao Xian and the others noticed him. They gazed at Jun Haoyan with eyes filled with anticipation. During these past 20 days, they'd been constantly paying attention to Jun Haoyan. Now it was time to test the results. Holy Lord, fortunately, I didn't let you down. Once I overcome the heavenly tribulation, I'll be at the peak of the Imperial Tao realm. Jun Haoyan spoke softly, and his tone was extremely indifferent. His words caused everyone present to reveal a look of pleasant surprise. In just a little over 20 days, Jun Haoyan had actually broken through from the 5th level of the Imperial Tao realm to the 10th level of the Imperial Tao realm. It was simply a miracle. Even Tao Xian revealed an expression of shock. This was simply unprecedented. All right. Tao Xian calmed his mind and spoke softly. After that, he opened the Langya sacred realm. In the next moment, Jun Haoyan stepped out and stood on the Langya sacred mountain. Rumble. He didn't hesitate to directly release the Yuan Dan's aura within him. At this moment, a storm arose once more. Boundless clouds of black lead converged. A vast pressure towered above the entire Langya sacred grounds. This was the might of the heavens and the earth. Everyone who was enveloped by it felt their hair stand on end. They felt as if the energy of the heavens and the earth was directly suppressing them. It was as if it wanted to crush them. At this moment, countless disciples of the Langya sacred grounds walked out. They felt an unparalleled pressure, causing their minds to tremble. After they walked out, they suddenly discovered something. Vast heaven's holy son, their only holy son of the Langya sacred ground, was standing on the Langya sacred mountain. He was like the son of a god, peerless in his generation, as he attracted thousands of tribulation clouds. Chapter 2. Tribulation Transcendence. Look, that's the Holy Son's tribulation. That's impossible. After all, the Holy Son only underwent tribulation a little over 20 days ago. How could he be undergoing tribulation again? Could it be that the Holy Son has broken through again in the past 20 days? All the disciples of the Langya sacred ground looked at the purple figure on the Langya sacred mountain. Their eyes were filled with shock. This was too unbelievable. It had only been 20 days, but the Holy Son had broken through again. Was he still human? Even Feng Xiaoyao, De Gabo, and Bailey Xuanzi walked out of seclusion. They looked at Jun Haoyan on the sacred mountain with shock in their eyes. Even though they were very far apart, they could still clearly sense each other's gazes. There was nothing but shock. They were shocked to the point of no return. Then, their eyes were filled with incomparable joy. Back then, they had made the right choice by choosing the weak holy son of vast heaven. Bailey Schwanza recalled how he had wanted to compete with the holy son for the position of holy son. How laughable. After a brief moment of absent-mindedness, there was only determination in their eyes. Following the holy son of vast heaven had been their choice for so many years. It was the best choice. However, they didn't know about it. At this moment, Jun Haoyan had broken through to the 10th level of the Imperial Tao realm. Otherwise, they would definitely go completely mad and overturn their worldview. In another expanse of space, the Holy Lord of Langia, Tao Xian, and the other supreme elders stood there. They looked at Jun Haoyan with gratification in their eyes. Only a few months had passed since Jun Haoyan had entered the Langia sacred ground. However, Jun Haoyan's strength had undergone a tremendous change. He had rapidly risen from the true energy realm to the peak of the Imperial Tao realm. It wouldn't be long before he stepped into the nascent Soul Dharma phase realm. If news of this were to spread, it would definitely shake the entire martial god continent. This kid is truly a monstrous genius. After sighing with emotion, Tao Xian and the other supreme elders looked at Jun Haoyan's heavenly tribulation. Now, the most important thing was for Jun Haoyan to overcome the tribulation of the heavens and the earth. Rumble. Right at this moment, a deafening rumble resounded through the heavens and the earth. The countless black tribulation clouds in the sky had completely turned into 9 colors. Just like before, Jun Haoyan's heavenly tribulation was still a 9-colored lightning tribulation. At this moment, everyone in the Langia sacred ground had their gazes on Jun Haoyan. Rumble. In the next moment, all sorts of tribulation clouds erupted. They were like heavenly dragons that constantly interweaved together. An unparalleled pressure of the heavens and the earth descended. Countless mountains and rivers in the Langia sacred ground began to shake violently. The Holy Lord of Langia, Tao Xian, had been prepared for all of this. During these 20 days, he had set up many exquisite formations in the surroundings. These formations were enough to protect the Langia sacred ground's environment. The Holy Lord of Langia had done all of this, so that Jun Haoyan could transcend the tribulation without any worries. In fact, Jun Haoyan had put down all his worries when he sensed the surrounding formations. In the next moment, he slowly raised his head to look at the sky. An extremely violent aura suddenly surged from his body. Golden vital blood filled the sky while ancient mammoths roared. Every single pore on his body seemed to be transforming at this moment. His body wasn't absorbing scattered vital essence anymore, and it was condensed into powerful dragon-shaped vital essence. He revealed a peerless stance. After that, 12 demon gods appeared, and with a single command in his heart, the energy of the demon gods enveloped his body. Rumble. Finally, the 9-colored lightning tribulation in the sky had finally condensed into form. It was different from the past. This was the tribulation of the heavens and the earth from the 5th to the 10th level of the Tao Emperor realm. A vast aura surged. This 9-colored lightning tribulation was over 10 kilometers long, and it rumbled as it descended. It was like a lightning dragon of the heavens, and the earth was swooping down from the sky. Its might was so great that even the 7 hall masters felt slightly fearful. However, Jun Haoyan didn't reveal a trace of fear when facing such a terrifying tribulation of the heavens and the earth. In the next moment, terrifying true essence condensed in his hand. After that, an extremely terrifying fist slowly floated into appearance in his hand, and it was the size of a star. Shatter! Jun Haoyan directly smashed his fist out when facing the might of the heavenly tribulation that assaulted him. This fist shook the heavens and the earth. This fist incinerated the heavens and boiled the seas. This fist suppressed the universe. Bang! In the next moment, the enormous fist that Jun Haoyan condensed completely collided with the might of the heavenly tribulation. It was like a meteor had collided with the earth, and a peerlessly terrifying aura erupted and swept through the surroundings. Even the clouds in the sky were completely blasted apart. The 9-colored lightning tribulation was shattered by Jun Haoyan's fist just like that. It was utterly unable to cause any harm to Jun Haoyan at all. The terrifying 9-colored lightning tribulation actually took less than 10 breaths of time to appear and disperse. For a time, the heavens and the earth became extremely silent. The 7 hall masters stared blankly at this scene. Then they looked at each other. Isn't this too terrifying? Since when did it become so easy for cultivators to overcome 9-colored lightning tribulation? Everyone else used true essence and magic treasures to resist it. But it was their holy son's turn. He actually shattered it with a single punch. Simple, violent, freakish. At this moment, all the disciples of the Langya Holy Land had the same thought. When the Holy Lord of Langya and Tao Xian saw this scene, they slowly heaved a sigh of relief. The heavenly tribulation had passed, and the Holy Sun had truly reached the 10th level of the Imperial Tao realm. At this moment in Jun Haoyan's body, 10 cracks slowly appeared on his Yuan Dan. Powerful energy constantly surged out from these cracks, nourishing every corner of his body. At this moment, the mammoth seed in his body also suddenly awakened. A moment later, it skyrocketed to 700,000 seeds. Jun Haoyan believed that as long as he reached the Transcendence realm, the divine elephant overpowering force would reach the 2nd level of perfection, and he was really not far from that step. As for the indestructible divine body, the 5 million pores had already completed the transformation. At this moment, his physical body had reached an unbelievable level. Even a supreme-grade magic weapon could not touch a single hair on his body. At this moment, feeling the incomparably majestic energy in his body, Jun Haoyan was extremely confident. Even if there was an immemorial celestial dragon here, he would still dare to go up and fight. The immemorial celestial dragon clan's physical body was the best in the 3,000 great worlds. Unless it was a demon with a terrifying bloodline among the ancient demons. Otherwise, the immemorial celestial dragons could be called the strongest physical race in the 3,000 great worlds. But at this moment, Jun Haoyan was confident that he could tear the immemorial celestial dragon apart. And for Jun Haoyan, who cultivated the indestructible divine body, this was just the beginning. Moreover, he also discovered that the 10 cracks on his Yuan Dan were constantly surging out an abstruse and mysterious energy. This energy was actually strengthening his physical body. Jun Haoyan had a feeling that the most important thing was that he could fully develop this energy and step into the Transcendence realm. Jun Haoyan believed that this day was not too far away. Alright, everyone disperse. In 3 days, the Holy Sun will set off for the Linglong sacred ground. 3 of you will follow. The Holy Sun will decide who the 3 of you will be. At this moment, the Holy Lord of Langya's voice came from above the void. All the disciples of the Langya sacred ground bowed after hearing this. Yes, Holy Lord. Some of the true disciples shook their heads. The Linglong sacred ground was very mysterious, and had the most powerful person in the eastern wilderness. Especially since all the cultivators there were women, just like the Jade Lake sacred ground. Everyone wanted to go and see it. Unfortunately, they would not be able to get the 3 spots. At this moment, countless disciples, including the true disciples, looked at Feng Xiaoyao, Bailey Xuanzi, and Dugabo. Feeling the surrounding gazes, Feng Xiaoyao, Bailey Xuanzi, and Bailey Xuanzi smiled proudly. They had followed the Holy Sun for the longest time, and were the most trusted by the Holy Sun. They were fully deserving of the 3 spots. Chapter 3. Setting off at this moment, in the Clear Heaven Hall on the Clear Heaven Divine Peak. Jun Haoyan sat at the head of the hall, listening to Feng Xiaoyao and the others' reports. So Prince Jiao has already announced that he will kill me in the Linglong sacred ground? Jun Haoyan asked with a smile when he heard this news. If he had heard this news 20 days ago, Jun Haoyan might have been afraid. After all, this was Prince Jiao, a top genius of the martial god continent who had been famous for a long time. He was known as the #1 genius of the southern wilderness. Compared to the Xiang Holy Sun, he was on a much higher level. His strength was absolutely terrifying. At that time, he was only at the 5th level of the Imperial Tao realm. Rumor had it that Prince Jiao was already at the Transcendence realm. The further one went on the path of cultivation, the greater the gap between them. It was very difficult to challenge someone of a higher cultivation level. Not to mention a peerless genius like Prince Jiao. Challenging someone of a higher cultivation level was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. But now, Jun Haoyan had broken through to the 10th level of the Imperial Dao realm. Whether it was in terms of true essence or physical strength, he had reached the peak. At this moment, he no longer had to worry about Prince Jiao. Thus, Jun Haoyan didn't really care when he heard this news. If Prince Jiao didn't know what was good for him, and came to provoke him, he didn't mind killing him. Holy Son, it's best to be careful. Feng Xiaoyao and the others were seated below him, their attitudes extremely respectful. Jun Haoyan wasn't usually very domineering in front of them. Compared to the Xiang Holy Son, he was definitely more amiable. But Feng Xiaoyao and the others thought that since they had decided to serve Jun Haoyan, they had to know the difference between their status. Holy Son, not only has Nanjiang's Prince Jiao spoken arrogantly, but even the third prince of the Azure Dragon Empire, one of the 4 ancient empires of the Central Plains, has said that he wants to spar with you. At this moment, Dugabo also spoke and revealed another piece of news. The third prince of the Azure Dragon Empire. Hearing this, Jun Haoyan's face revealed a trace of surprise. The 4 ancient empires of the Central Plains ruled over billions of miles of mountains and rivers. Every ancient empire was in existence comparable to a sacred ground. But the Central Plains was very far from the Eastern Wilderness and the Langya sacred ground. Jun Haoyan asked himself if he had any interactions with the 4 ancient empires. Why would the third prince of the Azure Dragon Empire want to provoke him? Holy Son, rumor has it that the third prince proposed to the Jade Lake Saintess 3 times, but he was rejected all 3 times. And in the remains of Xianyuan Supreme, you were very close to the Jade Lake Saintess. Rumor has it that the Jade Lake Saintess has already fallen in love with the Holy Son, so... Seeing the confusion on Jun Haoyan's face, Dugabo immediately explained. Hearing this, Jun Haoyan was stunned. The Jade Lake Saintess has fallen in love with me? What is this? She is indeed a femme fatale. Carelessly, he got himself in trouble again. How unlucky. Holy Son, not only the third prince of the Azure Dragon Empire, but also the first prince of the White Tiger Empire, and the Ping Shi Wang of the Black Tortoise Empire, are all admirers of the Jade Lake Saintess. At this moment, Dugabo spoke again. Hearing this, Jun Haoyan was a little speechless. What is this? A bunch of bootlickers who can't suck up to me are using me as a target? It seems like this trip to the Ling Long sacred ground is much more complicated than I thought. There's more. Say it all at once. Looking at Feng Xiaoyao and the others, Jun Haoyan said helplessly. At this moment, he finally understood the meaning of the phrase. The more popular you are, the more trouble you will have. He didn't expect that as his strength increased, his enemies would also increase. But this was good too. The path to becoming a powerhouse was forged through fighting. Jun Haoyan had always been fearless when it came to challenges. Holy Son, you are wise. Western Desert's Lesser Lane Temple's current first disciple, Divine Monk Xuanzang, would also like to ask you for advice on Buddhism. At this moment, Bailey Xuanzi also spoke. Ask for advice on Buddhism? Even the bald donkeys of the Western Desert are looking for me? The Lesser Lane Temple, Xiankong Temple, and Titanium Temple were the 3 most powerful Buddhist temples in the Western Desert. Among them, the Lesser Lane Temple was the most powerful. It was said that the Lesser Lane Temple had an extremely subtle relationship with the Greater Lane Temple, the overlord of the Western Paradise mainland. The Lesser Lane Temple was also comparable to a holy land. The first disciple of the first disciple was equivalent to the status of the Holy Son. But hearing this, Jun Haoyan was confused again. He could be considered as having nothing to do with this group of Western Desert bald donkeys. Why did these bald donkeys come to join in the fun? Here's the thing. The 3 heart-seeking tests in the conferring hall of the Holy Son were originally Buddhist. The answers you gave were very interesting to the monks of the Western Desert. So, Bailey Xuanzi's explanation made Jun Haoyan completely relieved. No wonder the questions of the heart-seeking tests were so strange. It turned out that they were from Buddhism. In other words, when he went there, would he have to face the talents of the Eastern Wilderness, Western Desert, Central Region and Southern Border? Thinking of this, Jun Haoyan had a headache. Of course, Jun Haoyan wasn't afraid. He just felt that it was troublesome. Looking at Jun Haoyan's appearance, Feng Xiaoyao and the others' eyes dimmed, and they felt a little helpless. On this trip to the Linglong sacred ground, the Holy Sun could be said to be the enemy of the whole world. He would have to face the top talents of the entire Wushan continent alone. Holy Sun, you must be very careful on this trip to the Linglong sacred ground, Feng Xiaoyao said again. Today, they explained to Jun Haoyan all the major events that had happened recently in the continent. If the Holy Sun didn't even know who his enemies were, then he would be in an extremely awkward situation. It's okay. Different situations call for different actions. You don't have to worry too much. Hearing this, Jun Haoyan said indifferently and slowly got up. No matter how dangerous it was, he had to go to the Linglong sacred ground. He looked ahead with a calm expression. If they come, they will become my stepping stones on the path to becoming the strongest. As soon as these words came out, the three people present were very excited. The Holy Sun wanted to kill all the people who attacked them this time. All of them would be his stepping stones. He would embark on his own path to becoming the strongest. Such lofty ambitions. Immediately, the three people's blood boiled. By the way, what about the Kunlun sacred ground? Is there any news? At this moment, Jun Haoyan suddenly thought of something and asked. He had to pay attention to the Kunlun sacred ground, especially the one with the surname Ji. The Kunlun sacred ground won't send anyone. You should know the reason. Feng Xiaorao replied. Hearing this, Jun Haoyan was stunned and then nodded. The Linglong sacred leader was once a disciple of the Kunlun sacred ground. Because of that calamity, the Holy Sun of Linglong killed all the most outstanding disciples of the Kunlun sacred ground. It could be said that among the 7 great sacred grounds of the human race, these 2 sacred grounds were like fire and water. Let nature take its course. Sooner or later, he would have the chance to meet the people from the Kunlun sacred ground. All of you go and prepare. In 3 days we will set off directly. Jun Haoyan said very calmly. So what if he could face the top talents of the 4 domains alone? In this world no one could stop him. Just like that, 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, the geniuses of the Wushan continent gathered, and the stars shone brightly. On this day, the holy son of Haoyan, Jun Haoyan, rode in a golden jade carriage pulled by 9 dragon-blooded heavenly horses, and left the Langya sacred ground. On this day, the Linglong sacred ground attracted the attention of the world. Chapter 172. Holy Sun, the desolate suspended sea is right in front of us. In the sky, Feng Xiaoyao pointed to the front and turned to face Jun Haoyan respectfully. They were not far from the Linglong sacred ground. Jun Haoyan had already walked down from the dragon-blood heavenly horse's golden jade carriage and revealed his true form. He did this to show his respect to the Linglong sacred leader. Hearing Feng Xiaoyao's words, Jun Haoyan nodded slowly. Then, he looked to the front with a surprised expression. At this moment, in front of him was a vast and boundless desert. Jun Haoyan looked around and saw that every grain of sand in the desert was emitting a 7-colored light. Under the sunlight, it was dazzling. The desert seemed to have no end. Of course, Jun Haoyan and the others' target was not the desert. Jun Haoyan slowly shifted his gaze to the sky above the desert. There was actually a vast ocean floating in the air. That's right. A vast ocean was floating above the desert. Looking from here, the waves were sparkling, the clouds lingered, and the islands were faintly discernible. There were also some auspicious beasts and divine birds flying above the ocean. It looked like a paradise on earth. Even Jun Haoyan could not help but be surprised by such a scene. What kind of terrifying means was this to be able to make a boundless sea suspended above a vast desert? Even an honorable would not be able to do this. Looking at the ocean in front of him, Jun Haoyan was surprised. This floating sea region was the legendary desolate divine ocean. After passing through this ocean, they could reach the Linglong sacred ground. Jun Haoyan's eyes flashed with golden light. Then he saw the end of the desolate divine ocean. It was a divine mountain that towered into the clouds. They stood at the end of the divine ocean, and they were hundreds of thousands of feet tall. There were even stars surrounding the tallest divine peak. It was as if a celestial palace had descended. That was where the Linglong sacred ground was located. The desolate divine ocean only appeared because it was the Linglong sacred leader's 3000th birthday today. If it was in the past, the desolate suspended sea would never have appeared. It was as if it was hidden in a void untraceable. Even a sempiternal realm expert would find it difficult to locate them. To be able to bring the Linglong sacred ground to such an extent, the Linglong sacred leader truly lived up to her name as the #1 expert in the eastern wilderness. Is the end of the desolate suspended sea where the Linglong holy land is? Looking at this scene, Dugabo could not help but exclaim in admiration. However, they were all from the Langya sacred ground, one of the 7 great sacred grounds of the human race. Although they were shocked, they did not lose their composure. Although the Linglong sacred ground is said to be in the eastern wasteland, it is actually hidden in a void. If you fly through the air, you'll never be able to fly there. It's as if you're so close yet so far away. Feng Xiaoyao nodded and couldn't help but sigh. Jun Haoyan stood in place, sizing up the divine mountain on the other side of the desolate suspended sea. Although he knew that was where the Linglong sacred ground was located. However, it was impossible to reach the Linglong sacred ground using ordinary methods. This already involved a trace of the law of space. Only by reaching the immortal realm could one possess such means. After joining the Langya sacred ground for so long, Jun Haoyan also had a thorough understanding of cultivation. He understood that the immortal realm was also divided into 5 stages. The first stage was the 10,000 years realm, where one could live for 10,000 years. People in this realm were known as eternal giants. Next was the undying realm, where one's physical body was indestructible and could be reborn from a drop of blood. Next was the creation realm, where one could create things out of thin air, just like how Tao Xian reshaped the sacred ground. The fourth was the world king realm, where one could open up space and form a world of their own. It was extremely terrifying. Finally, there was the immortal realm, where one's primordial spirit would be immortal and their physical body would be indestructible. It was almost impossible to kill. These were the 5 immortal realms, and each realm was divided into 10 levels. The difference in strength between each stage was like a chasm that was difficult to cross. According to the methods of the desolate suspended sea, the #1 expert in the eastern wasteland, Linglong sacred leader, had probably reached the world king realm. She had the ability to open up space on her own. It was incomparably terrifying. She had placed everyone in the Linglong sacred ground in another space. Outsiders had no way of obtaining it. This was the Linglong sacred leader's 3000th birthday, and all the famous figures in the martial god continent had come to offer their blessings. The Linglong sacred ground would definitely leave a passage for them. Thinking of this, Jun Haoyan led Feng Xiaoyao and the others into the desolate suspended sea. Let's go and see if there's any passage that can directly pass through the desolate suspended sea. Jun Haoyan guessed that even if the Linglong sacred ground had left a passage, there would definitely be a test. One's strength had to reach the standard to be qualified to enter the Linglong sacred ground. Otherwise, wouldn't any kitten be able to enter the Linglong sacred ground? By relying on these tests, they could eliminate at least 90% of the martial artists. To congratulate the Linglong sacred leader on her birthday, one would need to be extremely powerful. After hearing Jun Haoyan's words, Feng Xiaoyao and the others nodded and prepared to step into the desolate suspended sea. Boom! But at that moment, a rumbling sound came from the void. Beams of resplendent rainbow light suddenly appeared in the sky and approached the desolate suspended sea at an extremely fast speed. A moment later, those rainbow lights arrived at the desolate suspended sea and transformed into extremely powerful figures. These people appeared directly behind Jun Haoyan and the others. Each of them was dressed in luxurious clothes and looked domineering and arrogant. Especially the person in the lead. He was dressed in a purple python robe, and his aura was like that of a true dragon. The group of people who came didn't ride on any Dharma artifacts. The Linglong sacred ground had a rule that using Dharma artifacts or riding on a jade carriage was disrespectful to the Linglong sacred leader. Haha, I didn't expect anyone to want to participate in the Linglong sacred leader's birthday celebration. We've seen plenty of people like this along the way. Unrelated people, get out of the way. Don't block the Azure Dragon Empire's third prince's way. Otherwise, your entire family will be killed. Looking at Jun Haoyan and the others in front of them, a person walked out from the group of people dressed in luxurious clothes and berated Jun Haoyan and the others. Hearing that person's words, Jun Haoyan was speechless. Could this be the brainless side character that the author described? The desolate suspended sea was so huge. How could anyone block the path? This person was obviously looking for trouble. However, Jun Haoyan took note of the Azure Dragon Empire's third prince that the other party mentioned. Wasn't this the person who said that he wanted to challenge him? Enemies were bound to meet on a narrow road indeed. He waved his hand and asked the furious Feng Xiaoyao and the others to step back. He slowly took a few steps forward and looked at the man in the middle, who was dressed in a purple python robe. This must be the Azure Dragon Empire's third prince. This trip to the Linglong sacred ground would definitely be challenged by countless sky prides. Why not use this opportunity to make an example out of them and display his strength? With that thought, Jun Haoyan sneered. Feng Xiaoyao, slap him. The moment Jun Haoyan finished his words, Feng Xiaoyao made his move. A violent aura burst out from Feng Xiaoyao's body. In the next moment, he appeared in front of the person who scolded him and swung his palm. Slap. A crisp sound of a slap rang out. That person was sent flying, and all his teeth fell out. His entire body crashed onto the ground and he fainted. Some people who just arrived at the scene. All of them were dumbfounded. They looked at Jun Haoyan and the others in disbelief. What kind of people are they? So domineering and arrogant? They even dared to hit the trusted aide of the Azure Dragon Empire's third prince. Are they tired of living? As expected, right at this moment, the Azure Dragon Empire's third prince slowly raised his head. Endless purple divine light burst out of his eyes. It was heart-palpitating. Chapter 2. Long Tianyu. At this moment, the third prince's eyes were extremely dangerous. He looked at Jun Haoyan coldly and revealed an extreme killing intent. He didn't even look at Feng Xiaoyao, who just made a move. It was as though he didn't care about Feng Xiaoyao's strength at all. Presumptuous. How dare you attack the third prince's men? You're simply courting death. Seeing that person was slapped by Feng Xiaoyao, another person walked out from the third prince's side and shouted at Jun Haoyan and the others. This person was obviously very strong and wasn't any weaker than Feng Xiaoyao. The violent aura that he revealed was Yuan Dan's cultivation, at the peak of the 10th level realm. With such strength, he could be considered a top-notch true disciple even in the various saint lands. Kneel down and apologize to the third prince within 3 breaths. Otherwise, you'll be killed without mercy. This person looked at Jun Haoyan coldly and spoke with extreme arrogance. At this moment, the third prince was still looking at Jun Haoyan coldly. It was obvious that he had sensed Jun Haoyan's extraordinariness, but his arrogance as the Azure Dragon Empire's third prince made his killing intent towards Jun Haoyan even stronger. This guy is unlucky. He actually dared to offend the third prince of the Azure Dragon Empire. He's simply courting death. It's too late for him to regret offending the third prince, Long Tianyu. That's hard to say. Look at how calm that person was after hearing about the third prince of the Azure Dragon Empire. He must be from an extraordinary background. So what if he's from an extraordinary background? Can he be compared to the princes of the 4 great ancient empires? The surrounding onlookers started to discuss slowly. They thought that even if Jun Haoyan was the successor of a great force, it wouldn't matter. The 4 great ancient empires of the Middle region were terrifying forces that stood at the top of the martial god continent. The third prince's name had already spread throughout the entire martial god continent. It was rumored that the third prince had outstanding talent since he was young, but he was extremely arrogant. For so many years, anyone who had offended the third prince had died an unnatural death. Therefore, everyone sighed. Jun Haoyan and his group were doomed. However, what shocked everyone was that Jun Haoyan acted as though he didn't hear anything when facing the trusted aide of the Azure Dragon Prince, Yuan Dan. He stood on the spot and closed his eyes to rest. His attitude seemed to show that he couldn't be bothered to talk to such trash. Bastard, you're courting death. Seeing this, the trusted aide of the third prince couldn't take it anymore. In the next moment, he took a step forward and executed a mysterious mystic technique. He arrived in front of Jun Haotian. He actually wanted to attack Jun Haotian directly. Seeing this, Feng Xiaoyao and Dugabo's eyes flashed with extreme coldness. They instinctively wanted to attack. However, they didn't expect that Jun Haotian would attack before the two of them. He slowly raised his palm toward that person. In the next moment, terrifying true origin boiled in the void. Like a vast ocean, it swept across crazily. Poof! In the next moment, under everyone's astonished gaze, the trusted aide of the third prince, who was Yuan Dan, exploded and died. A mist of blood filled the air and sprinkled on the ground. Jun Haotian only swung his palm and killed that trusted aide. This action, it caused a huge commotion among the crowd who had rushed over. The third prince Long Tianyu didn't expect this. Someone actually dared to kill his trusted aide in front of him. You're courting death. In the next moment, Long Tianyu didn't hesitate at all and directly attacked Jun Haotian. He slowly stretched out his palm and instantly turned it into a palm print. Layers of purple light filled the air. The power of this palm seemed to be able to crush a mountain. In the face of Long Tianyu's sudden attack, Jun Haotian naturally didn't hold back and raised his palm again. Boom! The terrifying collision of true origin stirred up a sandstorm in the sky. The spectators could only hear a loud boom in their ears and felt as if their hearts were about to explode. As for Long Tianyu, who was facing Jun Haotian head-on, he kept retreating. His body seemed to have suffered a heavy blow, and his face turned ghastly pale. With the power of one palm, he was blasted hundreds of meters away by Jun Haotian. Looking at Jun Haotian, Long Tianyu's eyes revealed a trace of astonishment. Although he had just casually attacked, the strength of the attack wasn't something that an ordinary person could withstand. Who is this person? He can actually take my palm and not be injured. However, what Long Tianyu didn't expect was that Jun Haotian didn't even use 1% of his strength in that attack. Otherwise, Long Tianyu would have been killed by Jun Haotian with one palm. The difference in strength between the two was too great. I think I've seen this person somewhere before. Hiss! Isn't this the holy son of Haotian? At this moment, the people who had rushed over to the birthday celebration finally recognized Jun Haotian. What? He's the holy son of Haotian? It's the holy son of Haotian. No wonder he's so domineering, and doesn't even fear the third prince of the Azure Dragon Empire. I didn't expect these two geniuses to fight before they even reached Ling Long's sacred ground. Looks like there's going to be a good show to watch. Hearing the discussion, everyone present looked at Jun Haotian with complicated expressions. This person in front of them had killed 4 holy son of Haotian single-handedly, and had the legendary holy body. He was the most famous person in the Eastern Wilderness, and even the martial god continent. As for the third prince of the Azure Dragon Empire, he had once said in public that he would teach the holy son of Haotian a lesson. Now that they had met, they would definitely fight. You're the holy son of Haotian? Indeed. After knowing Jun Haotian's identity, Zilong Tianyu's eyes were filled with killing intent. The murderous intent in his eyes became even more intense. It was as if he wanted to cut Jun Haotian into pieces. Very good. I was just about to look for you. A cold smile appeared on Long Tianyu's face as he slowly took a step forward. All kinds of abstruse and mysterious purple light flickered around his body. Then, the third prince completely revealed his strength. His aura became stronger and stronger. His aura directly surpassed the Holy Sun of Dongbo, and was close to the light-shaking realm Holy Sun's aura. He could definitely be considered a top-notch genius. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect to meet the Holy Sun of Haotian here. Just as Long Tianyu was about to speak, a terrifying aura swept over. Countless people raised their heads to look at the powerful aura. When Long Tianyu heard this, his frown eased. In the air, a majestic man wearing battle armor and holding a golden spear appeared. His entire body was filled with a monstrous battle intent, causing the surrounding heaven and earth to rumble. The appearance of this person seemed to have turned the entire world into a battlefield. It's Ing Shuntian, the Black Tortoise Empire's Ping Shi Wang, Ing Shuntian. What? That's the pacifying West King, who fought the North Sea demons all year round? Even he has appeared. It is said that he is on good terms with the Azure Dragon Empire's third prince, Long Tianyu. These are two peerless geniuses of the Central Plains. Are they going to make things difficult for the Holy Son of Haotian? Someone exclaimed as he looked at the figures descending from the sky. The Black Tortoise Empire's Shuntian was in existence who fought the North Sea demons and won every battle. He was conferred the title of pacifying West King by the Black Tortoise Human Emperor, a true peerless genius. At this moment, Long Tianyu and pacifying West King Shuntian stood side by side in front of Jun Haotian. Their auras were dense, and their battle intent was shocking. Pacifying West King Shuntian pointed his golden spear at Jun Haotian. His expression was arrogant as he pointed his spear at the space between Jun Haotian's eyebrows. This was a provocation. The Holy Son of Haotian, do you dare to fight with this king? Chapter 173. Shuntian's voice was loud, and it carried a majestic battle intent. A dazzling golden light shot out from the long spear in Shuntian's hand, captivating the soul. At this moment, he stood together with the Azure Dragon Empire's third prince, and the two of them formed a powerful aura. This pressure caused the surrounding onlookers to involuntarily back away. Black Tortoise Empire's Ping Shi Huang and Azure Dragon Empire's third prince Long Tianyu directly confronted the Holy Son of Clear Heaven. The crowd was shocked. Who would have thought that before the Linglong Saint's birthday celebration even began, the two great geniuses of the Central Plains were already challenging the Holy Son of Clear Heaven? At this moment, all the cultivators gathered at the edge of the desolate suspended sea. All eyes were on the three peerless geniuses. They wanted to see what kind of strength the Clear Sky Saint, who had recently risen to fame, had. At this moment, Jun Haotian looked at Shuntian and Long Tianyu with a calm expression. Facing the terrifying aura from Shuntian, Jun Haotian acted as if he did not feel it. Since he had decided to make an example out of Clear Heaven, Jun Haotian did not intend to keep a low profile. The stronger the strength he displayed, the more fearful others would be. Thinking of this, Jun Haotian looked at Shuntian and Long Tianyu with disdain. The two of you are too weak. Come on. Both of you can come at me together. Jun Haotian's words caused an uproar. Clear Heaven's Holy Son's tone. Isn't he too arrogant? Some people sighed inwardly. This Clear Heaven's Holy Son was indeed, as the rumors said, domineering and overbearing. Impudent. Azure Dragon Empire's third prince Long Tianyu was enraged. Ha ha ha, Clear Heaven's Holy Son is indeed as arrogant as the rumors say. When Shuntian heard Jun Haotian's words, he was so angry that he laughed. Brother Tianyu, since Clear Heaven's Holy Son has made such a request, we'll just satisfy him. Like Long Tianyu, Shuntian was naturally furious. Ever since he was young, he had been gifted with unparalleled talent. It was unknown how many opponents he had defeated to reach his current level. However, the Holy Son of Haotian actually looked down on him. Since he was young, Shuntian had never seen such an arrogant person. All right, I'd like to see if he can withstand our combined attack. Hearing this, Long Tianyu's eyes were filled with killing intent, and his aura exploded. Immediately, the two of them took a step forward. True essence surged around his body, and his killing intent seemed to materialize, causing the desert around him to rumble. Whether it was Ping Shi Huang or Long Tianyu, they were both heaven's chosen of the younger generation. When the two geniuses joined forces, their power was naturally extraordinary. The next moment, without any warning, the two of them directly attacked Jun Haotian. A vast amount of true essence swirled up the sand, powerful and intimidating. Boundless radiance swept out, seemingly able to illuminate everything in its surroundings. A terrifying force swept out in all directions. This caused some of the martial artists with insufficient cultivation to tremble in fear. Such a battle was simply shocking to the extreme. Just this. Looking at the power displayed by the two of them, Jun Haotian did not have a trace of fear. Instead, he revealed a hint of disdain. The next moment, he directly took a step forward. In an instant, the mountains shook and the earth shook, and sharks filled the sky. Under the influence of his vast true essence, the desolate suspended sea was directly swept up into huge waves. At the same time, the 700,000 giant elephant seeds in Jun Haotian's body erupted at the same time. A peerless power that could suppress hell suddenly erupted. Then, with Jun Haotian as the center, a terrifying true essence boiled. Like a river in a sea. At this moment, Jun Haotian did not even use any martial arts. Only the pure power of his physical body. Boom! In an instant, the power of the two sides collided. It was as if the stars had collided, and the boundless desert shook. At this moment, after Ping Shiwang Ing Shuntian, and the third prince Long Tianyu felt Jun Haotian's vast true essence, their faces changed drastically. They only felt that they were in a monstrous wave. All the hair on their bodies stood on end. The vast true essence was like an ancient divine mountain pressing down, directly cracking their bodies. In the next moment, the two of them desperately retreated, spitting out blood. When they crashed into the desert, they only felt that their bodies were about to collapse. The two of them joined forces, but they were still no match for Jun Haotian. Seeing this scene, the onlookers who had been watching for a long time were stunned. Looking at the scene in front of them, they felt as if they were dreaming. The holy son of Hao Tian only used one punch to defeat the two geniuses from the central region. Invincible. Domineering. At this moment, Ing Shuntian and Long Tianyu also stood up, and a trace of shock flashed in their eyes. However, when they saw the gazes of the people around them, the two of them, who had always cared about their reputation, became extremely angry. As peerless geniuses, the two of them had never been humiliated like this. Holy son of Hao Tian, you're courting death. Then, the two of them looked at each other, and the true essence in their bodies went berserk, using their strongest power to attack Jun Haotian. After feeling the killing intent from the two of them, Jun Haotian frowned, but his expression became somewhat hesitant. Today was the birthday of the Linglong Sacred Master. If he killed someone in the desolate suspended sea, would he be disqualified by the Linglong Sacred Master? I might as well cripple them. Just as this thought came to Jun Haotian's mind, he felt an aura approaching, and immediately sank the true essence in his body. However, Ing Shuntian and Long Tianyu still did not care and directly attacked. But in the next moment, a powerful aura shrouded the area, and a powerful force descended. This kind of power was grand and imposing, as if it could suppress all evil. Even Ping Shiwang and Long Tianyu's true essence was imprisoned in their bodies, and they were completely unable to move. Ing Shuntian, Long Tianyu. A crisp voice sounded, but it was accompanied by an incomparable majesty. Immediately, a woman walked out of the desolate suspended sea, holding a golden wheel in her hand. Thousands of divine light drooped down, directly suppressing the two great geniuses of the central region. This woman was slender, with long hair draped over her shoulders and a slim waist. She was full of vitality. In terms of appearance, only the Jade Lake Saintess, Gu Yuahuang, could surpass her. She was the Linglong Sacred Master that Jun Haotian had seen before, Luo Qingxue, and the golden wheel in her hand. It was an immortal artifact. The Linglong Sacred Master, Luo Qingxue, glanced at Jun Haotian. After nodding her head, she looked at Ping Shiwang and Long Tianyu. The two of you actually dare to fight here, ignoring the dignity of the Linglong Sacred Master. In the name of the Linglong Sacred Master, I deprive the two of your qualifications to participate in the birthday banquet. Luo Qingxue said in a very domineering manner. She directly deprived the two of their qualifications to participate in the birthday banquet. None of the people present had expected such a situation. Saintess, it was the holy son of Haotian who attacked first. Why did you deprive the two of our qualifications? Hearing this, Ping Shiwang's expression changed drastically, and he immediately said, "What you did is unfair. We want an explanation one by one." Long Tianyu also spoke. Both of them were people of high status. Although the Linglong Sacred Master was powerful, the two of them were also not ordinary forces behind them. Explanation. The immortal artifact in my hand is the explanation. Luo Qingxue, the Linglong Sacred Master, said without giving face at all. The golden wheel in her hand was even emitting a sharp divine light. In an instant, the immortal aura filled the air and broke the sky. At this moment, Ping Shiwang and Long Tianyu were finally a little scared. That was an immortal artifact. Once it showed its power, they would be directly crushed. At this moment, the two of them looked at Jun Haoyan with endless killing intent in their eyes. When you walk out of the Linglong Sacred Master, you will die without a burial place. After leaving behind ruthless words, they directly left. They were afraid that Luo Qingxue would activate the immortal artifact. This was the style of the Linglong Sacred Master. Although it had not been passed down for long, it was extremely powerful. After Ping Shiwang and Long Tianyu left, Luo Qingxue turned to look at Jun Haotian. Holy son of Haotian, the Sacred Master has been waiting for you for a long time. The Linglong Sacred Master looked at Jun Haotian with a smile on her face. Oh, the Sacred Master knows that I am looking for her? Hearing this, Jun Haotian's eyes flashed, and there was a subtle look in his eyes. The Sacred Master that Luo Qingxue mentioned was naturally the most powerful person in the Eastern Wilderness, Chu Linglong. Now that he had just arrived at the desolate suspended sea, the Linglong Sacred Master had come out to welcome him. She even said that the Sacred Master was waiting for him. Could it be that Chu Linglong knew the purpose of his visit to the Linglong Sacred Master? Or perhaps Chu Linglong had been paying attention to him all this time. At this moment, Jun Haoyan could not help but fall into deep thought. It seemed that the Linglong Sacred Master was much more mysterious than he had imagined. The Sacred Master is very resourceful. Of course she knows everything. The Sacred Master has said that as long as the Holy Sun's performance at the birthday banquet satisfies her, she can have a private chat with you. Hearing this, Luo Qingxue smiled again. After hearing what Luo Qingxue said, Jun Haoyan could not help but raise his eyebrows. Is this the Linglong Sacred Master's test for me? It seems that if I want to meet the Linglong Sacred Master, I will have to perform well. I understand. Jun Haoyan nodded at Luo Qingxue and said, if you are not powerful enough, no one will pay attention to you. It was the Linglong Sacred Master's 3000th birthday banquet, and all the young talents in the martial god continent had gathered here. Normally, when a respected elder celebrated his or her birthday, it would be to add some excitement to the banquet. All the young talents of the various forces would compete with each other. If they performed well enough, they would receive unexpected benefits. Hence, the most important thing now was to perform well at the birthday banquet. All right, all of you follow behind me, Luo Qingxue said with a smile. She was no longer as domineering as before. Jun Haoyan nodded and followed her into the desolate suspended sea. As for the others, they did not dare to follow behind. The Holy Sun had a distinguished status and was one of the top existences in the world. Who would dare to compete with him? Boom! Following behind Luo Qingxue, Jun Haoyan slowly walked above the desolate suspended sea. The sea roared loudly, and it constantly set off a primordial chi storm. If it were Jun Haoyan's physical body, an ordinary person's body would definitely be torn apart. However, Feng Xiaoyao and the other two, who were following Jun Haoyan, could not withstand the primordial chi pressure on the desolate suspended sea. Their bodies could not help but tremble a little. Seeing this, Jun Haoyan hit them with a powerful wave of true origin, and Feng Xiaoyao and the other two felt a little better. The Linglong Sacred Master lived up to his reputation. A moment later, a burst of spatial fluctuations suddenly sounded. Jun Haoyan and the others suddenly fell into darkness. When Jun Haoyan opened his eyes again, he saw boundless white clouds floating in the void. There was a sea of clouds everywhere. Between the sea of clouds, there were huge islands and divine mountains towering in the clouds. All kinds of palaces, immortal birds, and spirit beasts were soaring on the clouds. One could even see primordial chi flood dragons in the divine sea of the monument abyss, appearing and disappearing among the sea of clouds. From time to time, they would dash out of the sea of clouds, and from time to time, they would hide under the sea of clouds. In the void, powerful five-colored spirit cranes soared in the sky, letting out clear cries that resounded through the 9 heavens. Those five-colored spirit cranes had the power of their feathers, soaring in the sky like rainbows, and were abnormally magical. Jun Haoyan could even feel that these five-colored spirit cranes and flood dragons were at the peak of the true origin realm. Every single one of them was at the peak of the true energy realm. They could all be considered monsters. Independent space, billowing sea of clouds, divine mountains archipelago, primordial chi flood dragons, five-colored spirit cranes. All of these formed the mountain gate of the Linglong sacred master. Jun Haoyan was surprised. She opened up a void and created a sea of clouds. Countless divine mountains and islands rose. This was equivalent to directly opening up a world. Without a doubt, these were all the means of the Linglong sacred master. Linglong paradise did not have a foundation or background. It was the Linglong sacred master who supported the overall situation alone. With her own strength, she made the Linglong sacred master one of the human sacred masters. It could be said that she could create clouds and rain with a flip of her hand. It was not an exaggeration to say that she was terrifying. In the middle of thousands of cloud sea and divine mountain archipelago, there was an incomparably huge palace. This palace was incomparably vast. It was tens of thousands of feet tall, and the roof of the palace directly pierced into the void. There were even the sun, moon, and stars circulating. Standing in front of the palace, one would be like a speck of dust. This palace was called the Ninth Heaven Linglong Palace. It was a supreme artifact. Everything Jun Haoyan saw in front of him was just a corner of this supreme artifact. Legend had it that the Ninth Heaven Linglong Palace was vast and boundless. It was divided into 9 heavenly palaces. When it was suppressed, it could crush the mountains and rivers of the eastern wilderness. The Linglong sacred master was not the one who founded it. Therefore, no one knew where this Emperor Supreme artifact called the Ninth Heaven Linglong Palace came from. However, it belonged to the Linglong sacred master. She was indeed a legendary woman from 3,000 years ago. When Jun Haoyan entered the Linglong sacred master's mountain gate, he felt all kinds of powerful auras. He could tell that these were people from various places in the martial god continent. They were here to celebrate the birthday. The #1 expert in the eastern wilderness, the Linglong sacred master, dominated the world. She was an expert who was worshipped by countless people. Holy Sun, the sacred master's birthday banquet will begin in 2 hours. The banquet will be held in the central square of the Ninth Heaven Linglong Palace. I have other things to do. Holy Sun, please remember the time of the banquet. At this moment, Luo Qingxue stood behind Jun Haoyan and said apologetically, "It's okay, Sacred Master. It's more important to get down to business." Jun Haoyan waved his hand and did not mind. Although it was the Sacred Master's birthday banquet, as the Sacred Master, Luo Qingxue naturally could not stay idle. "In that case, thank you very much." Luo Qingxue bowed slightly to express her gratitude, then turned into a stream of light and left. Isn't this the Holy Son of Haoyan? Just as Jun Haoyan was about to walk around, a familiar voice sounded. The Linglong sacred master, Luo Qingxue, actually came to welcome you personally. The Holy Son of Haoyan is really lucky. The Jade Lake sacred master, Guiyue Huang, looked at Jun Haoyan with her hands behind her back and said in a teasing tone. Hearing this, Jun Haoyan shook his head slightly. After what happened in Xianyuan Supreme's relic, he and Guiyue Huang were already good friends. What she said just now was just teasing, and he did not mind. "How can I compare to you? Your escorts are giving me a headache," Jun Haoyan said helplessly. Wasn't he targeted by Ping Shiwang and the others because of the #1 sacred master of the eastern wilderness in front of him? Thinking of this, he wanted to speak again. But at this moment, Jun Haoyan felt a terrifying gaze. It was staring at him. The owner of this gaze. It was very powerful. Chapter 174. Feeling that gaze, Guiyue Huang also frowned. The other party should be an expert. Then, the two of them slowly turned to look at each other. Following the gaze, Jun Haoyan only saw 3 figures standing in the void not far away from them. 2 of the figures, one in green and one in purple, had an extremely powerful aura. Jun Haoyan stared at the man in purple and felt that he looked familiar. He seemed to be similar to the 3rd prince of the Azure Dragon Empire, Long Tianyu. However, it was clear that the purple-robed man was much stronger than the 3rd prince. especially because the man in purple was emitting an extremely dense emperor's aura. Just like an emperor who was about to rule the world. Just by standing there, he had the urge to make others submit to him. Looking at the man in purple, Jun Haoyan's eyes lit up. If he guessed correctly, the man in purple should be the current crown prince of the Azure Dragon Empire, Long Tianjue. Long Tianjue was rumored to be the most talented and powerful of the younger generation in the entire Azure Dragon Empire. He was also designated as the future Azure Dragon Human Emperor. Then, Jun Haoyan shifted his gaze to the man in green on the other side. What puzzled him was that the man in green did not have any aura fluctuation. It was just like his appearance. He looked like a weak scholar without any cultivation. However, with Jun Haoyan's powerful divine spirit perception, he could still vaguely sense the demonic aura emitted from the man in green. It was obvious that the man in green was from the demon race. However, the man in green and the man in purple were not the owner of that gaze. In the middle of the two stood a man in a golden robe. This man's body was shining with golden light. Whether it was his hair or his eyes, they were all shining with golden light. At this moment he was staring at Jun Haoyan coldly. A monstrous murderous intent surged from his body. At the same time, his body was shrouded in a monstrous demonic aura, as if it was going to annihilate everything. Just by standing there, he gave off a feeling of invincibility. The aura emitted by the golden figure actually suppressed the aura emitted by the Azure Dragon Empire's crown prince and the weak scholar. This was an expert. A moment later, Jun Haoyan commented on the golden figure. This golden figure could be considered the strongest person of the younger generation he had ever seen. The light-shaking realm cultivators like the Holy Sun probably wouldn't be able to withstand a single blow from this person. Prince Jiao, Prince Fox, and Crown Prince of the Azure Dragon Empire. Looking at the three figures, a trace of seriousness appeared on Gu Yuehuang's face as she slowly spoke. At this moment she felt an extreme sense of danger. He was definitely not a match for these three people. Then, she looked at Jun Haoyan and said worriedly, "These three people are your enemies. They might be your biggest opponents at Saint Master Linglong's birthday banquet." Hearing this, Jun Haoyan nodded, his expression unchanged. After pondering for a moment, Jun Haoyan said slowly, "Let's go. The birthday banquet is about to begin. Let's go to the Nine Heavens Linglong Palace first." Although Prince Jiao's strength was formidable, Jun Haoyan did not fear him in the slightest. With his current strength, he definitely wouldn't lose to Prince Jiao. Faced with Prince Jiao's provocative gaze, he naturally wanted to go up and have a good fight. He was Jun Haoyan. He was never one to shy away from a fight. But right now, in Linglong Sacred Ground, there was still the most powerful person in Eastern Wilderness secretly watching. It was better for him to restrain himself and be more cautious. After all, he still had to ask for help. Of course, if these three people dared to violate the rules and attack him first, then Jun Haoyan would not care so much. He was afraid of trouble, but he was not a coward either. After hearing Jun Haoyan's words, Gu Yuehuang nodded slowly. In her heart, she naturally felt that Jun Haoyan was retreating in order to advance. For now he would not encounter these three people. Then Jun Haoyan and Gu Yuehuang left together and walked towards the center of Linglong Sacred Ground. "So this is the famous Holy Son of Great Heaven?" A trace of a smile appeared on the Fox Prince's face as he spoke with a playful expression. "Didn't they say that he was domineering and overbearing? You provoked him, and he ran away like that. How could Ziyang die in the hands of such a person?" He was a little confused. Such a provocation, and there was no reaction at all. That was too cowardly. He was also a genius of the generation. "I can't believe that my third brother was disqualified from the birthday banquet because of such a piece of trash." After that, the Azure Dragon Crown Prince spoke with a tinge of disappointment in his voice. The Azure Dragon Crown Prince also spoke with disappointment. He had thought that the famous Great Heaven Holy Son of Great Heaven would be some kind of person and wanted to get to know him. But now, it seemed that he did not live up to his reputation. And because of this person, his third brother was disqualified from the birthday banquet. Long Tianyu was his younger brother, although they were not born from the same mother. but he represented the Azure Dragon Empire's reputation. Therefore, he wanted to regain his reputation. He had already decided that he would humiliate the Holy Son of Great Heaven at the birthday banquet. Let's go. After Jun Haotian disappeared, Prince Jiao slowly retracted his gaze. His gaze was also filled with disdain. Make your move during the birthday banquet, Prince Jiao said. He did not intend to deal with Jun Haotian. He had even announced to the entire continent that he would kill this person. What a disgrace! What a disgrace! Although he was extremely disappointed, Prince Jiao did not dare to neglect the birthday banquet. The Linglong Sacred Lord was the most powerful person in Eastern Wilderness. Even his father, the Scale Dragon Demon King, had to show respect to her. If he could use this opportunity to befriend her, it would definitely be good news. I'm afraid you'll be in a terrible situation during the birthday banquet. On the way to the Linglong Palace, Gui Yuehuang looked at Jun Haotian and said worriedly. Feng Xiaoyao and the others, who were following behind Jun Haotian, were silent. When they faced Prince Jiao and the other two, they were so intimidated that they did not even dare to say a word. The aura that the three of them exuded was simply too powerful. Especially the demonic aura that filled the sky. It was as if it was going to swallow them whole. The three of them sighed. They were still a long way from being the top prodigies of Wushan continent. Prince Jiao is indeed a good opponent. Jun Haotian acknowledged Prince Jiao's strength. Prince Jiao was indeed looking forward to fighting this person. Actually, Prince Jiao is not the top prodigy of the demon race. At this moment, Gui Yuehuang spoke again. These words not only shocked Feng Xiaoyao and the others, but even Jun Haotian was a little surprised. Prince Jiao wasn't even the #1 prodigy of the demon race. Legend has it that the #1 genius of the demon race is a monkey, but for some reason, he was suppressed by a Buddha in the land of 5 elements in the western desert and never appeared again. Gui Yuehuang continued, telling him a secret. A monkey suppressed in the land of 5 elements in the western desert? We're here. Just as Jun Haotian was deep in thought, Gui Yuehuang suddenly spoke. Upon hearing this, Jun Haotian raised his head. The central plaza of the 9 Heavens exquisite palace was right in front of him. It was the location of Linglong Saint Master's 3000th birthday celebration. Chapter 2. The beginning. Countless beams of divine light shot out from the vast heavenly palace in the sky. The heavenly palace towered above the void, seemingly endless and without end. From time to time, a terrifying aura would descend from above the heavenly palace. This aura was shrouded by clouds, and even divine souls couldn't see it clearly. It was very mysterious. In front of the heavenly palace was a huge central plaza. It was about the same size as the central plaza of the Clear Sky Sacred Ground. It could easily accommodate hundreds of thousands of people. On this plaza, there were all kinds of spectator stands and jade platforms. These things were all floating in the void, and the people sitting on them were all emitting a powerful and terrifying aura. When Jun Haotian and Gui Yuehuang stepped into the plaza, dozens of divine souls probed them. Among these divine souls, the weakest one was a level 10 Yuan Dan realm being. As for the most powerful one, Jun Haotian vaguely sensed the aura of an immortal realm being. Linglong Saint Master was the #1 expert in the Eastern Wilderness. Even ordinary immortal realm giants had to come to celebrate her birthday. This is the Holy Son of Clear Sky and the Saintess of Jade Lake. The two of them came in at the same time. Is the rumor true? Is the Saintess of Jade Lake in love with the Holy Son of Clear Sky? I think it's very likely. I heard that the Holy Son of Clear Sky had a big battle with the Black Tortoise Dynasty's Ping Shiwang and the 3rd Prince of Azure Dragon Dynasty at the edge of the desolate suspended sea. Because of this, Ping Shiwang and the 3rd Prince were expelled by the Saintess. The martial artists on the Heavenly Palace Plaza couldn't stop discussing after discovering the identities of the two people. Seeing Gui Yuehuang and Jun Haotian come in together, it seemed to confirm the authenticity of the rumor. After all, one was the Holy Son of Clear Sky Sacred Ground, and the other was the Saintess of Jade Lake Sacred Ground. They were well matched in terms of social status, a perfect match. They were simply a match made in heaven. After hearing these comments, Gui Yuehuang's cold and beautiful face blushed slightly. However, As the saintess of Jade Lake, she still had the bearing she should have. She whispered to Jun Haotian, "The Clear Sky Sacred Ground and Jade Lake Sacred Ground are separated. Let's go together." "Okay." Hearing Gu Yuehuang's words, Jun Haotian nodded slightly. Then, the two of them turned into flowing light and rushed to the place closest to the heavenly palace. There were many people who came to the Linglong Sacred Ground for the birthday celebration, so they were naturally divided into different levels. Jun Haotian and Gu Yuehuang were the strongest successors of the sacred ground. Naturally, they were at the center. They were at the same level as the other sacred grounds and caches. At this moment, there was another roar in the void. 3 beams of divine light shot out and revealed their figures. "Look, that man in purple is the crown prince of Azure Dragon Dynasty, Long Tianjue. That man in green is the son of the Green Hill Fox Clan's Fox King. That's the top prodigy of the Demon Clan, Prince Jiao. Even he is here." Rumor has it that Prince Jiao declared that he would fight the Clear Sky Holy Sun at the birthday celebration. It will be a fierce battle. Looking at the 3 beams of light, there was a slight commotion. They all looked at the 3 people who had appeared with surprise. In particular, the appearance of Prince Jiao had shocked everyone. Even some of the immortal realm peerless beings looked at the 3 of them. It was enough to show how famous Prince Jiao was. Looking at Prince Jiao, everyone was reminded of Prince Jiao's declaration not long ago. At the Linglong Sacred Leader's birthday celebration, he killed the Clear Sky Holy Sun to comfort his good friend, Xiang Holy Sun. Seeing the 2 of them appear, everyone felt that this birthday banquet was definitely not simple. Buzz. Just as Prince Jiao and the others sat down, there was another rumble in the void. Then, a dazzling Buddhist light appeared in the void. The Buddhist light was extremely dazzling, as if it could deliver all living beings from torment. After seeing the Buddhist light, countless people felt their hearts and minds calm down. After the Buddhist light disappeared, a monk in a kasaya, who was not very tall, appeared. He had his palms together, and his ears were very big. It was as if he was about to become a Buddha. Could that be the eldest disciple of the Small Thunder Temple's first seat, Divine Monk Xuanzang? I heard that he is the reincarnation of a Buddha. He was born with incomparable intelligence, and has been cultivating under the abbot of the Small Thunder Temple since he was young. After the young monk appeared, the crowd began to discuss. The Western Desert was isolated from Zhongzhou, Eastern Wilderness, and other places all year round. Unless something major happened, the monks would not step out of the Western Desert. Most of the people present were seeing a monk from the Western Desert for the first time. Jun Haotian was naturally the same. He looked at Monk Xuanzang with a hint of curiosity. After Divine Monk Xuanzang appeared, he bowed slightly to the crowd. "Greetings, benefactors." His behavior was very polite. Then Master Xuanzang went directly to Jun Haotian. He put his palms together and said, "Greetings, Holy Son of Haotian." His voice was very gentle, and it had a calming quality. "Master Xuanzang." Naturally, Jun Haotian returned the gesture with a smile. From the looks of it, Master Xuanzang did not seem to have any ill intentions. Xuanzang seemed to have just greeted Jun Haotian, then returned to his seat. The monks of the Western Desert have always been very strange. You have to be careful. At that moment, Gu Yuehuang slowly came to Jun Haotian's side and reminded him. Hearing that, Jun Haotian nodded. During this period, he had also heard some secret news about the monks of the Western Desert. Legend had it that the monks of the Western Desert loved to save all living beings. It was said that a long time ago, a sect leader of a large sect had a conflict with the Western Desert Xinkong Temple. Everyone thought it would be a big battle, but the final result made everyone's jaws drop. At the critical moment of the final battle, the sect leader actually shaved his head and became a monk. He claimed that he had sinned deeply and wanted to convert to Buddhism. Even a few of the Grand Supreme Elders went. Since then, the sect had suffered a disastrous decline and lost its former glory. At that time, it was also the first time the world had seen the methods of Buddhism. It was strange and powerful. That battle immediately made the sacred grounds and ancient dynasties wary of the monks of the Western Desert. That was also why Gu Yuehuang reminded him, when she saw how close Master Xuanzang was to Jun Haotian. However, Jun Haotian was not very afraid of the monks of Buddhism. He could even completely master the Sutra of Past Amitabha. And he also had the Bodhi tree of 7 treasures, which the Buddhists called the Buddha tree. With those 2 treasures, it would be extremely difficult for the monks of the Western Desert to deal with him. In the following time, the powerhouses of the major factions appeared one after another. The entire square was soon filled with people. Countless people were waiting, looking forward to the start of the birthday banquet. If they performed well at the birthday banquet, they would be able to obtain great benefits. Those benefits were given by the #1 powerhouse of the Eastern Wilderness. Even the sacred lords and emperors could not compare. At this time, in front of the heavenly palace, the saintess of the Linglong sacred ground, Luo Qingxue, walked out. Beside her, the disciples of the Linglong sacred ground appeared. Every single one of them had peerless looks and was extremely beautiful. Luo Qingxue stood at the front and looked at everyone with a smile. I hereby announce that the birthday banquet of my master, the Linglong sacred leader, has officially begun. Welcome, sacred leader. At this moment, the world was silent. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. At the same time, an incomparably terrifying aura swept out. This aura was extremely powerful. It was as if it could suppress hell and the 9 heavens. When this aura appeared, all the disciples of the Linglong sacred ground bowed slightly, looking extremely respectful. Even the saintess of the Linglong sacred ground, Luo Qingxue, did the same. She stood aside and lowered her head slightly. At this moment in the square, all the powerhouses of the major factions opened their eyes. Everyone had the same emotion in their eyes: shock, admiration, respect. At this moment, Jun Haotian also raised his head and looked at the heavenly palace. He saw a peerless figure slowly appearing in the heavenly palace. There was a canopy there, with thousands of auspicious auras and thousands of rays of light hanging down. Under the canopy, a peerless figure sat on a crystal throne. And beneath the crystal throne was a 10,000-foot-long primordial celestial dragon. This was a celestial dragon. It was not an ordinary flood dragon, nor was it an ordinary dragon. It was a real celestial dragon. Only those who had cultivated to the 5th stage of the immortal realm could be called a celestial dragon. This celestial dragon's eyes were as big as water tanks, and its pupils were filled with an ancient color. The lines on its body were like an ink landscape painting, and its body moved freely. With a slight movement, it emitted a powerful dragon aura that could not be blasphemed. Immemorial celestial dragons were all very arrogant, especially this kind of immortal realm celestial dragon. Even if it died, it would not submit to anyone. But now, this celestial dragon was prostrating under the crystal throne. It was guarding the peerless figure on the throne with unparalleled loyalty. However, when Jun Haotian raised his head again, he did not see anything. He only saw a blurry figure that was reflected on the throne. He could not see what it looked like. Even this figure was emitting an extremely abstruse and mysterious divine light. It was like a sun hanging in the sky, shining brightly. Even when he activated his divine soul, he could only see a halo in front of him. He was still far from seeing Linglong Saint's real body. It was as if a woman's figure was reflected in the endless depths of time and space. It was as if she was a peerless existence that was created by some kind of law. She looked close, but she seemed to be millions of miles away. She was so close, yet so far away. She was unapproachable. Linglong Saint was indeed peerless and powerful. Is this the Linglong Saint, the most powerful person in Eastern Wilderness? Looking at the scene in the sky, even Jun Haotian was a little absent-minded as he muttered to himself. He had once sensed the Holy Lord of Langya's and Tao Xian's aura at a close distance. However, compared to the Linglong Saint Lord, Tao Xian was undoubtedly a far cry. This aura was truly like the descent of an immortal. In the blink of an eye, he could overturn rivers and seas, and make the sun and moon lose their light. Greetings, Saint Master Linglong. Greetings, Saint Master Linglong. I wish Saint Master Linglong the best in your life. Greetings, Saint Master Linglong. I wish Saint Master Linglong the best of luck. May you live for 10,000 years, and become a supremacy. The moment Linglong Saint Lord appeared, countless people who came to wish her a happy birthday cheered. They spoke at the same time. Facing that peerless figure, they all bowed. Jun Haoyan swept his gaze across the crowd. Even some of the sempiternal realm powerhouses had to lower their arrogance at this moment. Facing the Linglong Saint, they only had admiration and respect. Yes. At this moment, the peerless figure on the throne softly said, yes. That voice seemed to have come from the ancient times. Countless people felt at peace. Some people were even intoxicated by it and gained enlightenment. That was the Linglong Saint Lord. She was so powerful that she was close to the real supremacy of heaven and earth. Every action and word of hers could make martial artists gain enlightenment. However, after Linglong's sacred master said this, she fell silent again. Then, Linglong Saint Lord Luo Qingxue walked out slowly and said softly, "Everyone, you can bring out your gifts now." Of course, they had to bring gifts to wish her a happy birthday. Other than wanting to meet the most powerful person in Eastern Wilderness, they also wanted to give some precious gifts to gain Linglong Saint Lord's favor. This was especially so for some itinerant martial artists. If their gifts could satisfy Linglong Saint Lord and gain Linglong's favor, then they would soar to the sky. There were a total of 3 parts to this birthday banquet. Of course, the first part was to present gifts. The second part was for the younger generation to challenge each other. The last part was Linglong Saint Lord's preaching. Almost everyone was paying attention to these 3 parts. As Luo Qingxue finished speaking, the first part of the birthday banquet officially began. At this moment, everyone was eager to take action. The first to present gifts were the itinerant martial artists. Taoist Qing Mu from the Southern Sea presents a pair of 10,000-year-old deer antlers. Taoist Long Qing from the Bohai Sea presents a blood jade pearl. Lin Huatian from Tianyuan Ancient City presents 1,000 pure young limitless pills. Countless itinerant cultivators walked out at this moment and presented their congratulatory gifts. When they said the names of their gifts, they would shout loudly. It was as if they could attract Linglong Saint Lord's attention if they were loud enough. Then, all the itinerant martial artists and sects presented their gifts one after another. Just the gift-giving process alone took an entire 2 hours. However, no matter what gifts they presented, the peerless figure sitting on the throne remained calm. She did not even lift a finger. Seeing this, the itinerant martial artists and sects were disappointed. However, this was within their expectations. Who was Linglong Saint Lord? She was the most powerful person in Eastern Wilderness. What kind of treasures had she not seen before? How could someone like her be interested in some itinerant martial artist's items? Even if all the gifts were added up, Linglong Saint Lord would not have any reaction. Next, it was the turn of some sacred grounds and ancient dynasties to present their gifts. However, the gifts presented by the few people on the stage were still not enough to make Linglong Saint Lord move. Holy Son of Haoyan, I'll go first. At this moment Guyue Huang, who was beside Jun Haoyan, spoke. Then, she slowly walked to the center of the square. Jade Lake Sacred Grounds Jr., Guyue Huang, presents a basket of Jade Lake Immortal Peaches. As soon as Guyue Huang finished her words, Linglong Saint Master finally moved. 1 inch great. Then, Linglong Saint Lord uttered a simple word. However, the word good caused everyone present to be astonished. Obviously, Linglong Saint Lord was very satisfied with Guyue Huang's gift. Some of the people who had presented their gifts shook their heads slightly. Jade Lake Immortal Peaches were said to have been planted by the Jade Lake Sacred Grounds founder, Jade Lake Queen Mother. It took 10,000 years to bloom, 10,000 years to ripen, and 10,000 years to pluck. It was extremely precious. Not many people's gifts could be compared to it. Jade Lake Sacred Ground is indeed generous. A blue immortal peach is nothing. Just when everyone was still in shock, a voice was heard. It was the Crown Prince of the Azure Dragon Empire. Long Tianjue. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Then, the Crown Prince of the Azure Dragon Empire, Long Tianjue, walked out slowly. He actually looked down on Guyue Huang's immortal peaches. Oh, I wonder what kind of gift the Crown Prince will present. It's actually comparable to my basket of immortal peaches. At this moment, Gu Yuehuang's face suddenly turned cold. She regained her usual demeanor as the #1 holy lady of the eastern wilderness. Hee, since I dare to say so, my gift will naturally be better than the immortal peaches. Long Tianjue smiled confidently. Then, he slowly walked to Linglong Saint Lord. Long Tianjue first bowed to Linglong Saint Lord. Then he said, Azure Dragon Empire's Junior Long Tianjue presents a divine material, Azure Dragon Blood-Veined Gold. Long Tianjue's words instantly caused an uproar. Even some of the Immortal Realm powerhouses' expressions changed drastically. Azure Dragon Blood-Veined Gold. That was a divine material. Legend had it that it could be used to forge supreme weapons. Compared to the Immortal Peaches, Long Tianjue's Azure Dragon Blood-Veined Gold was undoubtedly more precious. Back then, the Azure Dragon Sovereign, the founder of the Azure Dragon Empire, had added the Azure Dragon Blood-Veined Gold to his sovereign weapon, the Azure Dragon Emperor Sword. Although Azure Dragon Blood-Veined Gold was not an exclusive material for supreme weapons. However, many supreme weapons required this kind of divine material. Moreover, this was only one of the effects of Azure Dragon Emperor Blood-Veined Gold. One could say that a piece of Azure Dragon Emperor Blood-Veined Gold, it was worth tens of billions of primordial stones. It was the kind that was priceless. Moreover, only Azure Dragon Empire had this material. It was known as the Empire's treasure. At this moment, Long Tianjue had actually taken out this item. It was obvious that Azure Dragon Empire had put in a lot of effort. As expected, Linglong Saint Lord, who was sitting on the throne, after hearing about Long Tianjue's gift, he said softly, "Don't worry. Not bad." Although it was just 2 simple words, the meaning was extraordinary. This meant that Linglong Saint Master was very satisfied with the gift he had given her. "Thank you, Linglong Saint Lord." Hearing that, Long Tianjue was overjoyed. Then he returned to his seat. Seeing this, Gu Yuehuang frowned and returned to her seat unwillingly. At this moment, Long Tianjue's gaze suddenly landed on Jun Haotian. He said softly, "Holy son of Haotian, as the top genius of Eastern Wilderness, I wonder what kind of gift you will give this time." Long Tianjue's sudden words were obvious. He was targeting Jun Haotian. If Jun Haotian's gift was not as good as Azure Dragon Empire's, Jun Haotian, the holy son of Haotian, would naturally lose face. Seeing that Long Tianjue was suddenly put in a difficult position, Jun Haotian's expression changed. Before he left, he had not opened the gift that Tao Xian had given him. He wondered how valuable it was. At this moment, he was not sure. Everyone present saw the change in Jun Haotian's expression. Instantly, there was a lot of discussion. Could it be that the holy son of Haotian did not bring a gift? Although he is the holy son of Langya Sacred Ground, he has not been here for long. I'm afraid he did not bring anything good. Not necessarily. After all, Haotian's sacred ground is the sacred ground of the human race. Seeing this, Long Tianjue sneered in his heart. If the holy son of Haotian did not bring anything good, he would be ridiculed by countless people. In the next moment, he gave Prince Fox a look. Then Prince Fox, who was sitting next to him, slowly stood up. Since the holy son of Haotian is not willing to bring out his gift, he probably thinks that his gift is more valuable. In that case, I will embarrass myself first. For a moment, everyone's eyes were on him. Prince Fox was the son of the Nine-Tailed Demon King. The Nine-Tailed Demon King was a famous heaven master of the demon clan. He was also an important figure of the Green Hill Fox clan of the celestial demon Great World. His foundation was so deep that he might be much more powerful than a sacred ground. After all, the Green Hill Fox clan was a clan that had been passed down since the ancient times. His gift was definitely not simple. Of course, if it was an ordinary gift, he would not have waited until now to present it. At a birthday banquet, the later one presented a gift, the more confident they were in their gift. At this moment, only Prince Fox, Prince Jiao, and Jun Haotian had not presented their gifts yet. Junior Daling of the Green Hill Fox clan presents a strand of the Nine-Tailed Demon King's fox fur. As soon as Prince Fox said that, everyone fell silent. Everyone fell into a state of shock. Even the Jade Lake Saintess Gu Yuehuang, looked at Prince Fox in shock. Countless people looked at the Fox Prince with disbelief in their eyes. At this moment, even Linglong's sacred lord could not maintain her composure on the throne. Very good. In the next moment, 2 words came out of her mouth softly. It was still 2 words. However, the meaning of those 2 words was too extraordinary. It was Linglong's sacred lord's approval. It meant that he was very satisfied with the gift. Jun Haoyan frowned. The 9-tailed demon king's fox fur. That was a peerless figure in the divine monster continent. He was the most powerful existence in the entire Green Hill Fox clan, and had lived for almost 50,000 years. He was a true antique. He was a terrifying figure who had surpassed the immortal stage 5. His fox fur was a precious gift in the entire martial god continent. Countless people were shocked and speechless for a long time. Meanwhile, Prince Fox enjoyed the respectful gazes of everyone present. He was very proud. That was the foundation of the Green Hill Fox clan. Thinking of this, the Fox Prince shifted his gaze to Jun Haoyan. I didn't expect the Holy Son of Great Heaven to be so calm. He must have something better than me, right? He spoke and once again pointed his finger at Jun Haoyan. Countless people looked over at that moment. Jun Haoyan was once again the center of attention. It was now the final segment of the ceremony to present the gift. However, the Holy Son of Great Heaven had yet to make a move. Could there really be a better gift than the 9-tailed Demon King's fox fur? Seeing this, the Fox Prince spoke again as he looked around the room. It seems that the Holy Son of Great Heaven does indeed have a very good gift. He looked at Jun Haoyan with a smile on his face. Prince Jiao did not make a move, but everyone knew. The gift he gave was probably the most precious one. It would also be the last to be presented. At that moment, everyone looked at Jun Haoyan. Did you really not prepare anything? Guiyue Huang stood beside Jun Haoyan and said. She looked at Jun Haoyan with a speechless expression. To think that a holy son would come to the birthday banquet without bringing a gift. Was he not afraid of offending the most powerful person in the eastern wilderness? After hearing that, Jun Haoyan felt very helpless. That was because he had not opened the box since Tao Xian gave it to him. Until now, he did not know what was inside. Could it be more precious than Long Tianjue and Prince Fox's gift? Even Jun Haoyan did not know. Thinking of that, he took a deep breath and opened a quaint box. In the next moment, Jun Haoyan's eyes widened. He was shocked. Jun Haoyan thought that Tao Xian would prepare something very precious for him. But he never thought that. It was actually this. Chapter 175. Even Jun Haoyan was shocked when he saw what was in the box. After all, the items inside were too shocking. He did not expect that Dao Yin was actually willing to part with such capital. If it were any other sacred ground, they would probably treat this item as their most precious treasure to protect their sacred ground. However, Tao Xian had given it away as a congratulatory gift. It had to be said that even Jun Haoyan, who possessed several Supreme Emperor techniques, was extremely tempted by the items in the wooden box. He took a deep breath. Jun Haoyan slowly calmed down his agitated emotions. At this moment, Jun Haoyan hid the shock in his heart. However, no one noticed it. Holy Son of Great Heaven, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and give your gift. As the top prodigy of Eastern Wilderness, your gift must be extraordinary. Seeing that Jun Haoyan did not move, the Fox Prince immediately spoke with a smile. Seeing that Jun Haoyan was a little embarrassed, the Fox Prince smiled. Every time he spoke, he seemed to be praising Jun Haoyan on the surface, but in reality, he was always putting Jun Haoyan in front of everyone. If it were any other time, it would not be a big deal. Everyone was looking at him. It was very impressive. However, what was the occasion now? It was the Linglong Sacred Leader's 3000th birthday. Every single one of those present was a reputable figure. Moreover, there were people from the various sacred grounds watching. There was even the Linglong Sacred Leader sitting high on the throne looking down. If anything happened to Jun Haoyan, or if anything happened to him, it would be embarrassing. It would be infinitely magnified. It might even be known throughout the entire martial god continent. It would greatly reduce the reputation of the Holy Son of Great Heaven. By then Jun Haoyan would be in an extremely awkward position. Therefore Jun Haoyan's gift. It was not only related to Jun Haoyan's reputation, it was also related to the reputation of the Langya sacred ground. Therefore, every time the Fox Prince opened his mouth, his intentions were sinister. Haha, Brother Daling, the Holy Sun's gift is naturally better than ours. Otherwise, why would he wait until now to give it away? Hearing that, the Azure Dragon Empire's crown prince also spoke. Looking at the silent Jun Haoyan, he mocked. Perhaps, the Holy Son of Haoyan thinks that his gift can be the finale. To be honest, I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of treasure the Holy Son of Haoyan will give us. Looking at Jun Haoyan, a cold light flashed in Long Tianjue's eyes. He had already decided in his heart that even if he couldn't kill Jun Haoyan in the Linglong holy ground, he would make Jun Haoyan lose all face. No matter who it was, anyone who dared to touch the prestige of the Azure Dragon Empire would have the same thought. Upon hearing the Fox Prince's words, Jun Haoyan came back to his senses. Then he slowly closed the lid of the box. Looking at the box in his hand, he looked at Long Tianjue and the Fox Prince confidently. Of course my gift will be better than yours. At that moment, Jun Haoyan was extremely confident. If nothing goes wrong, no one will be able to give a better gift than me today. After saying that, Jun Haoyan looked at the silent Prince Jiao. At that moment, only Prince Jiao and himself had yet to give a gift. It all depended on the two of them, who would win the first round of the birthday banquet. At that moment, he wanted to see what kind of gift Prince Jiao could give. Behind Jun Haoyan, Gu Yuehuang looked at Jun Haoyan curiously. She naturally saw the quaint box just now. However, she didn't know what was inside. But standing beside Jun Haoyan, she clearly saw the subtle changes on Jun Haoyan's face. Obviously, inside the quaint box, it was definitely a very good gift. However, the Fox Prince had given the nine-tailed demon master's fur. Could it really compare? As for the Prince Jiao, Jun Haoyan was staring at him. He didn't even blink when he heard Jun Haoyan's words. He still stood there with his eyes closed. He didn't even move to give a gift. Obviously, Prince Jiao was absolutely confident that his gift would be the best. As for Jun Haoyan's gaze, Prince Jiao completely ignored it. The current Jun Haoyan was just trash that did not live up to his name in his eyes. He didn't even deserve to talk to him. This was Prince Jiao's confidence and pride. With his bloodline and talent, he was quite famous even in the 3,000 small worlds. There was no need for him to pay attention to the holy son of a sacred land. Seeing this, Jun Haoyan slightly narrowed his eyes. A cold glint flashed in his eyes. What an arrogant fellow! The nine-headed serpent clan had the bloodline of the nine-headed serpent, an ancient divine beast. It was indeed a powerful clan in the 3,000 small worlds. But so what? The only way to deal with such a person was to destroy his pride, ruthlessly trampling on his so-called pride. Since everyone is so kind, I won't stand on ceremony. Then Jun Haoyan smiled. He slowly got up and walked toward Linglong's sacred master. He looked at the peerless figure on the void throne. No matter what had just happened, that Linglong saint master didn't say a word from the beginning. She was unfathomable. But Jun Haoyan was very confident. This congratulatory gift of his, Linglong's sacred master would definitely be shocked. Then he bowed slightly, holding the quaint box in his hand, and said loudly, Junior Jun Haoyan of the Langya sacred land presents a gift. His voice was loud and clear. Everyone heard it loud and clear. But everyone frowned. Because Jun Haoyan said he would present a gift. But he didn't say what his gift was. That made everyone feel strange. Even Luo Qingxue frowned. What was this guy up to? When we present our gifts, we only say the name of the gift. Holy Son of Haoyan, you don't even want to say what your gift is. Could it be that you feel that your gift is too simple, and you're afraid that you'll embarrass the Langya sacred land? The crown prince of the Azure Dragon Empire, Long Tianjue, stood up slowly and said meaningfully. That sentence was another attack on Jun Haoyan. Could it be that Holy Son of Haoyan thinks that his gift is too precious, and we don't have the right to know? At that moment, the Fox Prince also spoke slowly and viciously. At that moment, countless people looked at Jun Haoyan. That's right. Everyone had said it. Was he the only special one? Or was it just like what the Fox Prince said? They didn't have the right to know Jun Haotian's gift. If that was really the case, some forces that had a good impression of the Langya sacred land and the holy son of Haotian would have a grudge against him. After all, doing so would offend too many people. Even Gu Yuehuang looked at Jun Haotian worriedly. She didn't understand what he was doing. However, Jun Haotian, who was standing in the center of everyone, chuckled softly. He didn't care about the Fox Prince's words. He didn't care at all. He only looked at the figure on the void throne. The item in the ancient box is too shocking. Please open it yourself, Linglong's sacred lord. Too shocking? How was that possible? No matter how rich a sacred land was, Linglong's sacred lord, as the most powerful person in the eastern wilderness, had seen everything. Everyone present thought that Jun Haotian was deliberately mystifying things. At that moment, the peerless figure on the void throne didn't say anything. She just moved her fingers, and the ancient box appeared in front of her. Then it opened. Boom! In an instant the entire heaven and earth shook. The figure on the void throne opened her eyes, and opened her red lips. The Lord of Langya's Martial Path Original Manuscript. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. The Lord of Langya's Martial Path Original Manuscript. Linglong's sacred lord said. There was a hint of astonishment in her tone. She was so astonished that she didn't even control her aura. In the next moment, a vast, terrifying, and destructive aura shrouded the entire square. Countless people were affected by this aura. They were shivering and trembling all over. The aura of a sacred lord was indeed horrifying. However, at that moment, the astonishment in everyone's hearts was more because of what Linglong's sacred lord said. The Lord of Langya's Martial Path Original Manuscript. Linglong's sacred lord's words spread out. Immediately, everyone present was shocked. Even Long Tianjue and the Fox Prince widened their eyes in disbelief. In the next moment, everyone's eyes were focused on Jun Haotian. They were filled with astonishment. No matter what, they would never have thought that Jun Haotian's gift, it was actually such an item. Even Prince Jiao stared at Jun Haotian, his eyes filled with unwillingness. At the same time, his heart was filled with astonishment and disbelief. As for the others present, they were even more shocked. The Langya sacred ground is so generous that they even gave the Lord of Langya's Martial Path Original Manuscript to someone else? Is the Langya sacred ground crazy? That's the Martial Path Original Manuscript left behind by a supreme being. This is not a rubbing or a copy. This is the original manuscript. At that moment, they finally understood what Jun Haotian had said. This congratulatory gift was too shocking. Every supreme being would record their comprehension of the martial way when they were cultivating. It was for future generations to cultivate. One had to know. This was something written by a supreme being himself. It contained the supreme being's aura and intent realm. Although for ordinary cultivators, the original manuscript of a supreme being was precious. In fact, it was not very useful to them. How high was the intent realm of a supreme being? Not many people could directly comprehend it. However, to experts like Linglong Saint Master, it was extremely precious. For someone like Linglong Saint Master, it was undoubtedly extremely difficult to break through to the next realm. But if one had the original manuscript of a supreme being, that would be equivalent to having a supreme being guiding you. Such a good fortune. Even an immortal realm expert would be overjoyed. Everyone looked at Jun Haotian. They were extremely shocked. The congratulatory gift that he had sent out was truly incomparable. Although there were original manuscripts of supreme beings in the sacred ground, however, those were all things that had been left behind as the inheritances of the sovereign. They could be used to stabilize the sacred ground's luck. They would never give it away. Yet, the Langya sacred ground had done so. Without a doubt, Jun Haotian's gift. It was even more precious than all the congratulatory gifts that everyone present had put together. At this moment, Long Tianjue and Fox Prince had also recovered from their shock. They looked at Jun Haotian with a bone-piercing cold gaze. As soon as Jun Haotian's gift was out, it immediately surpassed all of their gifts. Whether it was the green dragon blood pattern gold, or the nine-tailed demon venerable's fox fur. in front of the martial path insights left behind by a supreme being, all of them became worthless. They could even be considered trash. Thinking of how they were still mocking Jun Haoyan earlier, now that they thought about it, Jun Haoyan was undoubtedly toying with them. Thinking of this, Long Tianjue and Fox Prince wished they could kill Jun Haoyan immediately. Sensing their gazes, Jun Haoyan immediately turned his gaze and looked at Long Tianjue and Fox Prince. I wonder what the two of you think of this birthday gift. Irony. Absolutely irony. After hearing Jun Haoyan's words, the murderous intent in Long Tianjue and Fox Prince's eyes became even more serious. No matter what, this enmity was formed. Holy son of Haoyan, right? You are very good. I am very satisfied with this gift. At this moment, a voice came from the Void Throne. It was like a dream, and countless people were enchanted by it. It was Linglong's sacred leader who walked out. After receiving everyone's congratulatory gifts, this was the most he had said. Her words could not hide her admiration for Jun Haoyan. Everyone smiled bitterly. This was the original manuscript of the martial path, of the honorable martial artist. Not to mention someone like Linglong's sacred leader. Even the legendary supreme being would be surprised, right? As long as you like it, sacred leader. Hearing this, Jun Haoyan bowed slightly. He was neither servile nor overbearing, neither arrogant nor rash. He also did not expect that Tao Xian would give this gift. He also knew that Tao Xian was doing his best to help him. If he wanted to find out more about his sister, Jun Moyo, he would have to ask Linglong's sacred leader for help. This precious gift could help Jun Haoyan build a good relationship with the strongest person in Eastern Wilderness. Of course, there was another point. Tao Xian was trying to be friendly with Linglong's sacred leader. Although there was no enmity between the two sacred grounds, their relationship was very normal. Now Jun Haoyan was giving away the martial path insights of a supreme being. In the future, if the Langia sacred ground had any difficulties and needed Linglong's sacred leader's help, Linglong's sacred leader would definitely help. This was the plan of the Holy Lord of Langia, Tao Xian. Not only was he powerful, but his methods were also unusual. He was a true hero. Thinking of this, Jun Haoyan got rid of all distracting thoughts. Then, Jun Haoyan walked directly to his seat without saying anything else. At this time, except for Prince Jiao, everyone present had given away their gifts. Only Prince Jiao's gift was left. Therefore, after Jun Haoyan returned to his seat, everyone looked at Prince Jiao. However, this legendary top genius of the demon clan, the powerful and terrifying Prince Jiao, did not get up. He looked at Jun Haoyan in the distance and felt a little indignant. He had indeed prepared a big gift for Linglong's sacred leader. However, in terms of preciousness, it was far less valuable than the martial Dao insights that Jun Haoyan had given him. Therefore, if he gave away his gift now, he would definitely lose face. However, this was Linglong's sacred leader's birthday banquet. He had to move. Then Prince Jiao walked out and said, Southern Border Demon Clan's Junior, Ao Feng, presents the four-headed divine dragon's blood essence. The four-headed divine dragon. He was also a big shot in the Sky Demon continent. His bloodline had evolved several times and reached the four-headed realm. He was extremely powerful, and was also a peerless existence that surpassed the immortal realm. His blood essence was powerful and precious enough. If it was under normal circumstances, it would definitely shock the world. But now, very good. Sure enough, Linglong's sacred leader nodded softly. There was no other reaction. Countless people shook their heads. The pearl was in front of them. The blood essence of the Emperor Realm four-headed divine flood dragon was also useless. Chapter 176. At this point, even Prince Jiao could do nothing about it. The nine-headed godly dragon clan had a long history, and had been a powerful clan since ancient times. However, if they wanted to present something that was comparable to the original manuscript of the sovereign's martial path, it would not be easy. Moreover, Prince Jiao did not expect the Langia sacred ground to be so generous. They were even willing to give up something that was left behind by a sovereign. This was indeed beyond his expectations. After Prince Jiao presented the congratulatory gift in his hand, the first stage of the birthday banquet was officially over. At this moment, Luo Qingxue, who was beside Linglong's sacred master, turned around. Her beautiful eyes swept across everyone present as she spoke softly. "Rise!" As soon as she finished speaking, the void vibrated, and a dazzling ray of light shot out. A powerful aura suddenly spread across heaven and earth. Then, a huge beam of light that seemed to be solid fell from the sky. Buzz! A moment later, the huge beam of light that stood between heaven and earth disappeared. An ancient-looking arena that was filled with all kinds of intense battle intent appeared before everyone's eyes. This arena was very wide. It floated in the void, and a mysterious aura shrouded it. Just the aura it emitted caused the hearts of several Yuan Dan stage practitioners to palpitate. At this moment, everyone stared at the arena that suddenly appeared, and they were shocked. They could feel that if the aura of this arena was fully released, it would be enough to kill an ordinary Yuan Dan realm expert. This is the deity battle arena. I brought it out from the battlefield of the gods. Today is my 3000th birthday, and I don't have any good programs for everyone to enjoy. So, I set up this arena for all the powerful young talents of the martial god continent to compete. At this moment, Linglong's sacred master sat on the throne in the void and spoke softly. Her voice was not loud, but it seemed to be able to see through everyone's mind. What shocked everyone even more was the arena that she mentioned. The few sempiternal realm powerhouses exclaimed in shock when they heard the words. The deity battle arena, the battlefield of the gods. It's one of the forbidden places in the 3000 worlds. Rumor has it that the battlefield of the gods is filled with terrifying purple divine lightning. Even the creator realm experts would be killed if they enter. But now Linglong's sacred master brought out a deity battle arena from the battlefield of the gods. We can only look up to such strength. She is indeed the most powerful expert in the eastern wilderness. Several immortal realm experts looked at the deity battle arena, in the void, and exclaimed in shock. They knew how horrifying the battlefield of the gods was. Even immortal realm experts did not dare to enter it. However, not only had the number one expert of the eastern wilderness entered the divine battle platform, but he had also brought it out safely. It had to be said that this was too unimaginable. The final winner of this martial arts competition will be able to have a private talk with me. Just as everyone was still in shock, Linglong Saint spoke again. Sacred Master Linglong to the deity battle arena was. Deity to deity battle realm? This was a great opportunity. Ever since Sacred Master Linglong established the Linglong Sacred Ground, she had never truly fought. Until now no one knew her true strength. But the Kunlun Sacred Ground, the leader of the 7 sacred grounds, still recognized her as the most powerful expert in the eastern wilderness. Sacred Master Linglong's strength was still unrivaled in the eastern wilderness. Even the Kunlun Sacred Ground feared her strength. To be able to converse with such an existence and seek enlightenment in cultivation was the dream of all martial artists. Even top geniuses like Prince Jiao and the Fox Prince were no exception. Countless young geniuses were extremely excited when they heard this. They were ready to fight. Boom! At this moment a loud explosion rang out. Long Tianjue, the crown prince of the Azure Dragon Empire, was the first to walk out. Step by step he caused the clouds to shake. With every step he took, Long Tianjue's aura grew stronger and stronger. When he walked onto the arena, his aura had already reached its peak. He was at the peak of the 10th level of the Imperial Dao realm. It was even to the extent that a trace of his nascent soul avatar's aura spread out. The expressions of countless young geniuses changed drastically when they sensed this. Long Tianjue's aura made them lose the courage to enter the arena. Long Tianjue's strength was too terrifying. Even in the Central Plains, he could be considered one of the best. According to the rules, experts like Long Tianjue would definitely be the last to enter the arena. But they didn't expect him to be the first to walk out. Long Tianjue's appearance caused 99% of the young geniuses to lose their confidence. They didn't dare to enter the arena. Who dares to fight me in the arena? Long Tianjue's aura soared as he looked at everyone and shouted. His voice was extremely loud, vast and deafening. He displayed the demeanor of a peerless genius. Countless young geniuses lowered their heads and didn't say anything. As for the older generation, they sat cross-legged in the air. This was a stage for the young geniuses, so they naturally wouldn't choose to fight. Aren't you going to try? Jun Haoyan looked at Gu Yuehuang with a curious look on his face. The other sacred grounds had sent people, but they weren't the holy son or holy daughter. They were all core disciples. Of course, they didn't have the strength to fight Long Tianjue. It's all because of you. You killed the 4 holy son. Otherwise, the eastern wilderness wouldn't have no one to fight. Gu Yuehuang looked at Jun Haoyan and rolled her eyes. Her words made Jun Haoyan feel a little awkward. He smiled bitterly and touched his nose. Indeed, if the Alcade Holy Son and the others hadn't died, they would still have fought. Unfortunately. As for me, I'm not very interested in the inheritance of the Linglong sacred ground. Our sacred leader once said that the Linglong sacred leader's Tao is completely different from the Jade Lake sacred ground. Gu Yuehuang spoke again. Hearing this, Jun Haoyan nodded. Everyone knew that the Linglong sacred leader was domineering and had terrifying means. Otherwise, why would she tame a heavenly dragon as her pet? This attitude was indeed different from the Jade Lake sacred ground, which had always been gentle. There was a reason why Gu Yuehuang didn't fight. Holy son of Haoyan, you're known as the top genius of the eastern wilderness. You're as famous as the holy son of Kunlun. And now, you've even sent me the original manuscript of a paragon. I admire you, but I've never seen your true strength. Today, do you dare to fight me in front of everyone? At this moment, Long Tianjue, who was standing in the arena, changed the topic. He directly named Jun Haoyan and challenged him to a duel. Furthermore, his aura that was filled with battle intent was completely revealed. Especially Long Tianjue's words. Do you dare to fight me in front of everyone? What is this? Obviously, he didn't believe in Jun Haoyan's strength. Jun Haoyan's limelight had overshadowed everyone in the segment of presenting the congratulatory gift. Long Tianjue's words were a provocation. Everyone looked at Jun Haoyan, wanting to see what he would choose. Moreover, all the big shots from the martial god continent were present. They all wanted to see Jun Haoyan's strength. The holy son of Haoyan. Would he accept the challenge? Or would he be afraid? Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation under Long Tianjue's urging. Everyone looked at Jun Haoyan. He was the real center of attention. The holy son of Haoyan had recently become very famous in the eastern wilderness. However, many of the people present had never seen the holy son of Haoyan fight with their own eyes. Especially the martial artists from the southern region and the central region. At this moment, these martial artists from outside the eastern wilderness naturally wanted to see the strength of the holy son of Haoyan with their own eyes. No matter where one was, the brilliance of an expert was always eye-catching. The holy son of Haoyan was now the only holy son of the holy son of Langia. The Holy Lord of Langia had publicly announced that the Holy Son of Haoyan would be the future Holy Lord of Langia. If the Holy Son of Haoyan did not die, he would definitely be one of the top figures in the martial god continent in the future. Such a person's every word and action would naturally attract everyone's attention. Now the Crown Prince of the Azure Dragon Empire, Long Tianjue, had challenged the Holy Son of Haoyan. This shocking battle naturally caused everyone present to look forward to the final result. At this moment, they were also waiting for Jun Haoyan's final decision. Under everyone's gazes, Jun Haoyan slowly stood up. In an instant, countless pairs of eyes gathered on him. In the face of Long Tianjue's arrogant provocation, Jun Haoyan naturally would not reject. Moreover, he had to get the chance to talk to the Linglong Holy Master alone. This battle on the arena, the final winner could only be him. At this thought, Jun Haoyan slowly looked at Long Tianjue, who was on the divine battle platform, and a trace of cold light flashed in his eyes. This guy had provoked him time and time again, and he had long angered Jun Haoyan. Immediately, Jun Haoyan stared at Long Tianjue and said slowly, "I, the Holy Son, can deal with you with one hand." He looked at Long Tianjue, as if he was looking at an ant that he could easily crush to death. One hand was enough. Jun Haoyan's words shocked everyone present. Who was Long Tianjue? He was the crown prince of the Azure Dragon Empire, one of the 4 ancient empires of Middle-earth. If there were no accidents, he would definitely inherit the throne of the Azure Dragon Human Emperor in the future. He would also be one of the top figures in the martial god continent in the future. He could control the life and death of billions of people in his hands. But now, the holy son of Haoyan actually declared that he could defeat him with one hand? In many people's eyes, the holy son of Haoyan was no longer domineering. He was arrogant. He was condescending. His words immediately shocked everyone. He defeated Long Tianjue with one hand. The holy son of Haoyan is indeed as powerful as the rumors say. Haha, I'm afraid he's not just powerful. He's arrogant and condescending. That's right. The crown prince of the Azure Dragon Empire, Long Tianjue, is at the peak of the Imperial Dao realm. He's only one step away from the Transcendence realm. How could the holy son of Haoyan defeat him with one hand? Outside the divine battle platform, countless people looked at Jun Haoyan in disgust. Jun Haoyan's words were too arrogant. Hearing that, Long Tianjue's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Even an ordinary person would not be able to accept such an insult. Not to mention the crown prince of the Azure Dragon Empire, Long Tianjue. Defeat me with one hand? Ha ha ha, how arrogant. Coldly staring at Jun Haoyan, Long Tianjue said, just because of what you said, I will definitely teach you a lesson that you will never forget for the rest of your life. Roar. As soon as he finished speaking, a dragon roar resounded from Long Tianjue's body. In the next moment, an Azure Dragon phantom appeared on his body, with an unparalleled aura. Jun Haoyan, on the other hand, didn't say anything and took a step forward. In the next moment, he was standing on the platform. With his hands behind his back, he looked calm. His posture attracted the attention of some female disciples of the Linglong Holy Land. The posture of a heaven's pride. Nothing could be more impressive than that. Seeing that, Long Tianjue snorted coldly. In the next moment, a jade seal with Azure Dragon patterns appeared in his hand. It's the Azure Dragon seal, one of the strongest top-grade artifacts in the Central Plains. It's said that the Azure Dragon seal is made of various top-grade materials, and has the power to suppress mountains and rivers. I didn't expect Long Tianjue to use all his trump cards. I wonder how the holy son of Haoyan will deal with it. After seeing the jade seal in Long Tianjue's hand, everyone was shocked. The Azure Dragon seal was one of the strongest artifacts in the Central Plains. If it was refined by an Emperor Realm Master, it could reach the level of an immortal artifact. At that moment, Long Tianjue's powerful aura surged and stirred the sky. His vast true qi surged out like a heavenly dragon descending to the world. The Azure Dragon kingdom-suppressing jade seal expanded to tens of thousands of feet in size, and pressed down on Jun Haoyan. A terrifying world-suppressing pressure swept across the area. Under this pressure, Feng Xiaoyao and the others felt their souls tremble, and their hair stand on end. The battle before them was a real battle between two heavenly talents. Facing Long Tianjue's terrifying attack, Jun Haoyan's expression did not change. In the next moment, he took a step forward, and a surge of power surged out of his body. Instantly, the entire divine battle platform trembled. Fortunately, this platform was much more powerful than Lengya Holy Land's innate death platform. Therefore, no matter how the two of them attacked, they could not damage the platform at all. In this way, Jun Haoyan could go all out. Without any hesitation, he condensed a vast amount of true qi in his hand. Golden blood qi filled the sky and bloomed with dazzling golden light. 700,000 giant elephant seeds roared in unison and unleashed an earth-shattering power. The blood sea appeared, and the 12 demon gods appeared and rushed into Jun Haoyan's body. Break! In the next moment, Jun Haoyan condensed a huge fist and punched the huge imperial jade seal. Seeing this scene, everyone was extremely shocked. The holy son of Haoyan actually resisted the power of a supreme-grade Dharma artifact with his physical body. As expected of a sacred body, boom! At that moment a monstrous aura surged. As if an ancient demon god had descended, Jun Haoyan's punch could shatter thousands of miles of mountains and rivers. Boom! Boom! Another boom sounded, and a terrifying aura swept out, sending chills down everyone's spines. The Azure Dragon seal, which was controlled by Long Tianjue, was trembling slightly. How is this possible? The Imperial Jade seal in his hand was trembling? He was shocked. Suppress! Long Tianjue roared, and all kinds of powerful divine abilities and secret techniques gathered on the Imperial Jade seal. He wanted to suppress Jun Haoyan, but in the next moment, Jun Haoyan threw another powerful punch. It was still the same hand, and he didn't even move his body. Break, he said softly, and his power surged. Endless true essence seemed to shake the world. Some of the immortal realm cultivators were shocked. Boom! Boom! Long Tianjue was pushed back by this punch. The Imperial Jade seal in his hand trembled again. But this was not the end. Jun Haoyan threw 2 more punches. Boom! Every punch was shocking, as if it could shatter stars. Long Tianjue was powerful, but Jun Haoyan was also standing at the peak of the 10th level of the Imperial Path. His true essence was dozens of times more powerful than his. His punches were hitting Long Tianjue's internal organs. Pfft! Finally, he couldn't take it anymore. He spat out blood and crashed into the arena. 4 obvious fist marks appeared on the Imperial Jade seal in Long Tianjue's hand. Even a supreme-grade Dharma artifact was about to be shattered? He was shocked. But at that moment, a power that made his hair stand on end condensed once again. The Holy Son of Haoyan. He was about to throw the 5th punch. Chapter 177. At that moment, the entire void fell into silence. Everyone's eyes were on Jun Haoyan. At that moment, he displayed an unparalleled stance. On the arena, Long Tianjue's body was covered in blood. The Azure Dragon seal in his hand was shrinking, and had lost its previous power. On the other hand, Jun Haoyan stood on the divine battle platform, with a giant fist imprint in his hand. The domineering aura that he displayed was shocking. That vast power was like the descent of an unparalleled deity. Boom! In the next moment, Jun Haoyan no longer held back and punched out again. A buzzing sound of something tearing could be heard in the void, and reverberated in everyone's mind. An unstoppable power surged out at this moment, causing the void to rumble. Seeing Jun Haoyan use another killer move, Long Tianjue, who was already severely injured, was shocked. He was very sure that if this punch landed on him, he would definitely die. Without any hesitation, he forcefully circulated the remaining power in his body. Determination flashed in his eyes. In the next moment, he spat a mouthful of blood on the Azure Dragon seal. The seal, which had lost its power, enlarged again. However, at that moment Jun Haoyan's horrifying fist imprint came crashing down. Rumble! At that moment, it was as if divine lightning flashed from the 9 heavens. A thunderous explosion could be heard in the void. In the next moment, Long Tianjue's body was pushed back, and he crashed into the array light screen on the divine battle platform. At that moment, his face was extremely ugly. He felt that all the bones in his body had been shattered. Cracks actually appeared on his powerful physical body. It was like a piece of porcelain that would shatter at the slightest touch. As for the Azure Dragon seal in his hand, it had become dim and had lost its divine nature. If it could not be repaired in time, this supreme-grade dermic artifact would probably be destroyed. Jun Haoyan's fist was incomparably domineering. Outside the divine battle platform, everyone was trembling with fear when they saw this scene. The Holy Son of Haoyan was simply too powerful. However, Jun Haoyan was standing on the divine battle platform, frowning as he looked at Long Tianjue. I didn't think that I would need 5 punches to deal with a piece of trash like you. Jun Haoyan's words caused an uproar once again. The Holy Son of Clear Heaven actually isn't satisfied with suppressing a peerless genius of the Middle Plains with 5 punches, and the Crown Prince of the Azure Dragon Empire? Isn't this Holy Son of Haoyan a little too arrogant? At this moment, everyone was speechless as they looked at Jun Haoyan. Long Tianjue's strength was something they could only look up to. However, the Holy Son of Haoyan suppressed him with just 5 punches. This was truly heaven-defying. On the divine battle platform, Long Tianjue, who was still somewhat awake, heard Jun Haotian's words. His face immediately turned green, and in the end, he spat out a mouthful of blood. A great sense of humiliation lingered in his heart, causing him to pass out. He had never suffered such humiliation in his entire life. Men, help the crown prince of the Azure Dragon Empire down to rest. After the saintess, Luo Qingxue, consulted the Linglong sacred master, she arranged for men to help Long Tianjue down. After all, Long Tianjue was the crown prince of the Azure Dragon Empire. If he died here, the Linglong sacred master would not be able to explain it. Holy son of Haotian, how impressive! After Long Tianjue was helped down, a gentle voice was heard. In the next moment, everyone turned to look at the source of the voice. They saw that the Fox Prince, who was dressed in purple, had stood up and was walking towards the divine battle platform. At the same time, the scholarly aura on the Fox Prince had completely disappeared. What replaced it was an extremely powerful and terrifying demonic aura. He only took a few steps, but it was as if a peerless demon was slowly walking out. Standing in the air, the Fox Prince looked down at Jun Haotian calmly. Holy son of Haotian, you have already won, but you still dare to insult Brother Long like this. Don't you think you have gone too far? There are countless geniuses in the 3,000 worlds. Although you are quite powerful, you are nothing compared to the 3,000 worlds. The Fox Prince's voice was loud and clear, echoing throughout the entire space. Every time he said a sentence, several rays of light would converge. Finally, when he walked onto the platform, there were thousands of rays of light around his body, dazzling and boundless. Just like that, the Fox Prince stood in front of Jun Haotian. I hope you remember that from today onwards, I, Daling, will be your nightmare. As soon as the Fox Prince finished speaking, a towering demonic aura spread throughout the divine battle platform. Then, a large amount of silver fur appeared on the Fox Prince's body. Soon, the Fox Prince's entire body was covered in silver fur, forming a silver coat. At the same time, the Fox Prince's aura was completely unleashed. Behind him, the shadow of a nine-tailed celestial fox appeared. The Fox Prince has already reached the half-step primordial spirit Dharma Laksana realm. The nine-tailed fox clan has a powerful bloodline to begin with. As a member of the demon clan, their Dharma true essence and physical strength far surpass that of humans. I'm afraid that even the Holy Son of Great Heaven won't have an advantage over the Fox Prince. Everyone was shocked when they sensed the Fox Prince's aura. The peak of the 10th level Imperial Path was already the strongest level of the Wushan continent's geniuses. As for the primordial spirit Dharma Laksana realm, they were all from the older generation. If there was anyone in the younger generation who could reach such a level, they were strong enough to compete for the title of the top genius of the Wushan continent. The Fox Prince's half-step Dharma Laksana realm was enough to shock everyone. Of course, the battle between him and the Holy Son of Great Heaven would be the center of attention. It's just a challenge. Why do you have so much nonsense to say? At that moment, Jun Haotian stared at the Fox Prince and said calmly, a challenge was a challenge. What was the point of talking so much? All right, then I'll do as you wish. The Fox Prince's expression did not change when he heard Jun Haotian's words, but his tone was extremely cold. At that moment, a bone-piercing killing intent erupted from the Fox Prince's body. I'll let you see the consequences of being too arrogant, the Fox Prince said coldly. He was very confident. In the next moment, as soon as the Fox Prince finished speaking, he attacked without hesitation. In an instant, his entire body turned into a stream of light. Countless people only saw a shadow flash by. They couldn't see the Fox Prince's figure at all. That speed. It was unbelievably fast. Boom! In the next moment, the Fox Prince threw a punch at Jun Haotian. Seeing that, Jun Haotian frowned slightly. That speed was indeed beyond his expectations. However, back off. The corner of Jun Haotian's mouth curled into a sneer as he quickly threw out a punch. Boom! The confrontation between the two sides was terrifying. Under the power of the punch, the entire void shook. The Fox Prince retreated directly and frowned at Jun Haotian in front of him. The Holy Son of Great Heaven's physical body surprised him. Of course, that was all. If that's all you've got, then you'll definitely lose this battle. The Fox Prince's aura skyrocketed as he spoke. He vaguely touched the level of the primordial spirit Dharma form. For a moment the wind and clouds stirred. Jun Haoyan sneered. You talk too much nonsense. In the next moment the real battle began. Chapter 178. At that moment, the Fox Prince was truly displaying the demeanor of a peerless powerhouse. That domineering and overbearing stance intimidated everyone present. The Fox Prince stood in the air, as waves of primal chi spread out from him. In addition, the silver robe on the Fox Prince's body began to shine with a dazzling light. I'm wearing the heavenly fox armor. No one below the Transcendence realm can break through my defense. In the next moment, the Fox Prince attacked Jun Haoyan again. Streaks of silver light gathered in his hands and swept toward the entire divine battle platform. Every streak of silver light was like a sharp sword that emitted a shocking chill. A moment later, Jun Haoyan's body was enveloped by the silver light. Jun Haoyan's eyes shone with a golden light. He realized that the silver light was actually strands of silver fox fur. Clang! Clang! Suddenly, the silver fox fur in the void let out a series of roars. Streaks of shockingly sharp light were emitted from the silver fox fur like thousands of sword lights. Fleeting fox shadow technique. At the same time, the Fox Prince shouted in the void. Then an extremely violent force erupted from his body. All of the true origin wrapped around each strand of silver fox fur and shot out instantly. At that moment, Jun Haoyan was standing on the divine battle platform, facing the killer move that was sweeping toward him. His expression did not change at all. In the next moment, a shocking aura was released from his body. Jun Haoyan's pores were inhaling and exhaling a huge amount of essence chi that shone brightly. Around him, the silver fox fur turned into thousands of sword lights and swept toward him. The killing intent was so sharp that it seemed like it was going to tear Jun Haoyan into thousands of pieces. Then, without any hesitation, Jun Haoyan threw a punch around him. Boom! Vast amounts of true origin surged out, and all of the silver light around him shook. Even so, it was still unable to resist the power of the sword lights. The Fox Prince's technique was not that easy to break. Is that all you've got? At that moment, the Fox Prince stood in the void with intense light shooting out from his body. At that moment he was like a god. Everyone who saw this scene was incomparably shocked. As expected of the Fox Prince, his strength is simply shocking. The Fox Prince has the pure bloodline of the nine-tailed celestial fox, and is extremely talented. In the future, he will definitely become an ancient giant. Although the Holy Son of Haoyan is powerful, the outcome of his battle with the Fox Prince is still uncertain. Someone said. There was no doubt that the Fox Prince was stronger than the Holy Son of Haotian. Compared to the Azure Dragon Empire's crown prince, Long Tianjue, he was much stronger. A half-step to the Dharma stage, coupled with the nine-tailed celestial fox bloodline, shocked everyone present. He was such a proud son of heaven. In the future, he would definitely become the pillar that supported the entire martial god continent. Even though the Holy Son of Haoyan was unparalleled in strength, he was still no match for the Fox Prince. Just when everyone thought that Jun Haoyan would definitely lose this battle, Jun Haoyan suddenly moved. At this moment, everyone realized a problem. This was the first time Jun Haoyan had moved his body since he stepped onto the deity battle platform. With a thought, the flowers bloom, and the sovereign descends. At this moment, Jun Haoyan muttered in a voice that only he could hear. Buzz! In an instant the entire world fell silent again. The Fox Prince was shocked to find that all the silver fox fur that he had shot out had been blocked. At the same time, everyone looked up into the sky. Flower petals began to fall one after another. These flower petals were even more dazzling than the feathers. It was as if they did not belong to this world. Just like that, while everyone was admiring the scene of these flower petals, all the flower petals began to bloom. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Then, one by one, Jun Haoyan's silhouettes walked out looking calm. In the next moment, countless silhouettes of Jun Haoyan attacked the thousands of silver fox fur. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, All the flowers bloomed with unparalleled power. The silver fox fur that was enveloped by the flower petals exploded one by one. An extremely powerful force suddenly swept across the deity battle platform. The fox prince's silhouette was forced to retreat under this force. He stared at Jun Haoyan with a horrified expression. He was even more shocked. Although the fleeting fox's shadow technique just now wasn't his strongest technique, it was still extremely powerful. However, the power it contained was something that even an ordinary Transcendence Realm expert could not resist. But just now, in the process of fighting with Jun Haoyan, he actually lost. While the Fox Prince was still in a daze, he suddenly realized that Jun Haoyan had disappeared from his sight for some reason. Why did he suddenly disappear? The Fox Prince glanced at the deity battle platform and only saw an afterimage flash by. He could not catch a trace of Jun Haoyan. Seeing this, the Fox Prince could not help but be shocked. The Holy Son of Haoyan was actually faster than him. How is that possible? How can a mere human be faster than me? In the Fox Prince's eyes, only the number one prodigy of the monster race, Prince Jiao, could catch up to him. Jun Haoyan was just a human and could not do that at all. However, in the next moment, he was completely dumbfounded. Jun Haoyan suddenly appeared in front of him and threw a punch without any warning. Boom! A powerful force surged out. The Fox Prince did not have time to react and could only defend himself. It was this punch that caused him to retreat hundreds of meters. Even the Heavenly Fox battle armor on his body had a crack. Jun Haoyan's punch just now directly broke through his defense. This is impossible. Just as the Fox Prince was in disbelief, Jun Haoyan appeared again. You've gone too far. Why would I be afraid of a human when it comes to physical strength? The Fox Prince was furious when he saw Jun Haoyan attacking again. He also threw a punch at Jun Haoyan. Boom! In the next moment, the two extremely violent fists collided. It was as if a lightning tribulation had descended in the entire void, and a series of thunderous explosions immediately sounded. Then, the Fox Prince was shocked to find that the Heavenly Fox battle armor on his body had shattered. It had shattered. How could the Holy Son of Haoyan, a human, have a body stronger than him, a member of the Yao Yao tribe? At this moment, the Fox Prince was so shocked that he could not control himself. However, the Fox Prince's shock had only just begun. Jun Haoyan attacked again, and powerful essence continuously spewed out of the 5 million pores on his body. That was the indestructible divine constitution. It was one of the supreme emperor techniques that cultivated the body. Moreover, Jun Haoyan had an extremely rare divine constitution. In an instant, the two of them exchanged hundreds of punches. Every punch was shocking and seemed to be able to tear mountains and rivers apart. Countless people were shocked when they saw this scene. The Holy Son of Haoyan's body was actually able to fight against the Fox Prince of the Yao Yao tribe? Was he still a human? Rumble, just when everyone was still in shock. Jun Haoyan threw out hundreds of punches again. Crack! At this moment, the Heavenly Fox battle armor that the Fox Prince was so proud of. It was said that the Heavenly Fox battle armor's defense was unparalleled among those below the primordial soul Dharma form realm. It was directly shattered by Jun Haoyan's fists. At this moment the entire void rumbled. The Fox Prince crashed into the arena, and his face was pale. Jun Haoyan, on the other hand, was in the void. He was like a king who suppressed the world. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. At this moment, everyone involuntarily stood up and looked at the figure on the divine battle platform in shock. Even the ancient giants of the immortal realm could not help but open their eyes and size up Jun Haoyan. They only knew that Jun Haoyan had used some kind of exquisite divine power to turn his disadvantage into an advantage in an instant. Moreover, this change in advantage surprised everyone. Jun Haoyan actually defeated the Fox Prince of the Yao Yao tribe with his body. The human body could actually defeat the Yao Yao tribe's body. The Holy Son of Haoyan can be said to be the best of the younger generation in terms of vital essence and body. The Holy Son of Haoyan can be said to be invincible among those of the same level. The holy son of Haotian doesn't look like a human at all. His body is as strong as the immemorial celestial dragon. Some powerful martial artists who specialized in body cultivation and transcendence realm martial artists exclaimed as they looked at Jun Haotian. They were shocked by Jun Haotian's unparalleled performance on the divine battle platform. At this moment, the Fox Prince, who was sent flying by Jun Haotian with a punch, slowly stood up. He looked at Jun Haotian with a hint of coldness in his eyes. The heavenly fox battle armor on his body had been shattered by Jun Haotian. It would take a very long time to recondense it. His unparalleled defense had been completely broken by Jun Haotian. Very good. The holy son of Haotian. Staring at Jun Haotian, a smile suddenly appeared on the Fox Prince's face. In the next moment, his body disappeared on the spot. He actually attacked again. Seeing this scene, Jun Haotian was a little surprised. The Fox Prince was indeed a genius of the Yao Yao tribe. His body was strong. After taking a punch from him, he still had the strength to fight. This kind of strength was indeed beyond Jun Haotian's expectations. However, that was all there was to it. He looked at the Fox Prince, who was quickly approaching him, and a vast wave of true origin surged out. In the next moment, he activated the esoteric secret of all 10,000 times. Since the Fox Prince's defense had been broken, what he had to do now was to crush him. Crush. In an instant, Jun Haotian's strength was 10 times stronger in all aspects. An extremely powerful aura surged out. Countless people felt that Jun Haotian's strength had been terrifyingly strengthened. The holy son of Haotian didn't use his full strength just now. He can still hide his strength in the face of someone like the Fox Prince. How terrifying is the holy son of Haotian's strength? Many people asked. In the battle with the Fox Prince just now, the holy son of Haotian did not use his full strength. How much was he hiding? In the next moment, countless people exclaimed again. Jun Haotian and the Fox Prince fought again. The supreme divine powers that the two of them used also collided in an instant. Rumble. The Fox Prince's strength was also very strong. He was not even a match for Jun Haotian in his normal state. How could he be a match for Jun Haotian, who had opened the secret of all? At this moment, under the bombardment of that powerful force, the Fox Prince felt that he was facing an ancient god. The power contained in it immediately made his body feel as if the sea was overturning. Boom! In the next moment, Jun Haotian threw out another terrifying punch. The power in Jun Haotian's body seemed to be endless. The punch landed squarely on the Fox Prince's body. Boom! In an instant, the Fox Prince was directly blasted into the light screen on the divine battle platform. Crack! At this moment, he felt that all the bones in his body were shattered, and even his internal organs were severely injured. In just an instant, the winner was decided between the two of them. The Fox Prince, who was known as the peerless genius of the monster clan. He was actually crippled by the holy son of Haotian. Seeing this scene, everyone was extremely shocked. Even Prince Jiao could not stop frowning. As a good friend of the Fox Prince, he naturally knew the Fox Prince's strength. However, he was actually so weak in front of Jun Haotian. Under everyone's gaze, Jun Haotian slowly took a step forward. At this moment, he was like a demon that had descended. A terrifying aura suddenly swept across the entire divine battle platform. Sensing this aura, the Fox Prince trembled all over and his blood froze. Impossible! How can he be so powerful? The Fox Prince's eyes were filled with disbelief. Only by directly facing Jun Haotian's aura did he realize how powerful Jun Haotian was. Perhaps only the peerless genius of the monster clan, Prince Jiao, would be able to fight with such terrifying means. Boom! Jun Haotian walked up to the Fox Prince. Looking at the extremely weak Fox Prince, a trace of coldness flashed in his eyes. In the next moment, Jun Haotian directly stepped out and directly stepped on the Fox Prince's right arm. Arg! The Fox Prince immediately let out an extremely miserable howl. The Fox Prince's right arm was already a bloody mess. It was directly crushed by Jun Haotian's stomp. Now who is the one feeling despair? Jun Haotian looked down at the Fox Prince condescendingly and said coldly. Previously, the Fox Prince had such a prideful attitude when he entered the arena. Now he was going to completely crush that so-called pride in his heart. Arg, arg, arg. Holy son of Haotian, I want you dead. Seeing Jun Haotian mocking him like that, the fox prince's expression suddenly became deranged. He looked at Jun Haotian in front of him and shouted crazily with a ferocious expression. He was extremely resentful. Not only did the holy son of Haotian defeat him, but he also humiliated him like that. In the face of the fox prince's threat, Jun Haotian smiled slightly and attacked again. Boom! In the next moment, Jun Haotian stomped his foot again. Instantly, the fox prince's left arm was crushed by Jun Haotian. It was a bloody mess. Blood splattered all over the sky and poured onto the divine battle platform. It was absorbed by the divine battle platform. At this moment, Jun Haotian was like a god or a demon. If it wasn't for the fact that it was Linglong's sacred master's birthday banquet, Jun Haotian might have directly stomped the fox prince to death. He had always been merciless to those who liked to provoke him. That was Jun Haotian's usual style of doing things. My father is a six-tailed fox supreme, a super expert of the immortal realm level 5. Now that you have crippled me, I will definitely return the favor tenfold in the future. The fox prince was completely deranged after his hands were crippled. As the little prince of the Green Hill Fox tribe, he had been pampered since he was young and had never suffered such pain. He swore in his heart that he would definitely make Jun Haotian pay the price in blood in the future. Is that so? The young one can't beat you, so you want the old one to do it. Jun Haotian looked down from above and stomped his foot again. Boom! At this moment, one of the fox prince's legs exploded, and his flesh and blood splattered everywhere. It was a shocking sight. He wanted to get up, but Jun Haotian's power was too strong. The fox prince couldn't even move. Ah, stop, stop! He shouted crazily, especially when he felt the thousands of gazes from the side of the platform. He was filled with grief and anger. Pfft! The fox prince spat out a mouthful of blood, and his entire body was trembling. Enough! At this moment a majestic voice was heard. Countless people trembled and turned their heads. Prince Jiao stood up. His body was shining with a golden light, and his gaze was stern. Stop, and I will spare your life. He spoke directly and his tone was unquestionable. Especially the killing intent that seemed to have materialized. It was even more terrifying. It was as if it could tear people apart directly. Ridiculous. Jun Haotian spoke without a change in his expression. Do I have to stop just because you ask me to? There was no extra movement. Then Jun Haotian stomped his foot again under the shocked gazes of countless people. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.